cuts back. Oh, look at him go to the 30. He may go.
He's gone, Barry.
What a run by Todd Jamison.
They're looking for the outlet. Here's the Bobby Gordon. 4 seconds. A near steal. And now it is stolen. It is outside. It's over. The ball game is over. The ball game is over. Southside is the Class B champ with a 51-50 win. And look at Leslie.
Welcome to Hofstra Stadium in Hempstead for Cablevision coverage of the Long Island Football Championship. Today it's the Class 3 final with Comsewogue taking on Bethpage. Well, hi everyone, I'm Carl Reuter along with Tom Howard. Great day for Long Island Football Championship here, and it's Comsewogue taking on Bethpage. Tom, everyone pretty much expected Bethpage to be here. A lot of people didn't feel Comsewogue would get this far.
Great upset over North Babylon last week, Carl. They did a tremendous job on defense, and I think when you talk about championship games, defense is the key. 2 great offenses over the past 15 years, one in Suffolk County and Comsewogue, one in Bethpage and Nassau County. However, defense is going to be the key today.
All right, when you talk about defense for Comsewogue, let's pay tribute to one of the best in the county, if not Long Island, linebacker David Callender.
David had a great game against North Babylon last week. 20 tackles, is able to hit, runs fullback position also for Comsewogue, but Coach Tom Cassis thinks his strength is on defense, and that's where he's going to have to rise to the occasion today against a great Bethpage offense.
When you talk about a Bethpage Golden Eagles offense, they know how to rack up the points. They are loaded. But the #1 guy in this offense is Brian Soliday.
Brian Soliday is able to rush for about 10 yards every time he touches the football. He's put a lot of touchdowns on the board. He's able to run that Bethpage triple option threat. They have a good fullback in Chris Searcy and a good end in Brandon Tester also. And Brandon Tester is going to have to do the job on defense. He's a great defensive player. Bethpage has only given up 1 touchdown in the first half all year, and that's against the pass. No touchdowns rushing. Comsewogue is up against the wall with that today.
If Bethpage dominates in the trenches on both sides of the football, it could be a long afternoon for Comsewogue. The Long Island Class 3 Championship is upcoming next from Hofstra Stadium. Stay with us.
Express yourself.
To Hofstra Stadium in Hempstead for today's Class 3 final between Comsewogue and Bethpage. Our coverage of today's game is being brought to you by Canon USA, by Hofstra University, by 9X, Cablevision Systems Corp., EAB, the New York Saints, and by Crystal Video Productions. Carl Reuter along with Tom Howard. There it is, the 1996 Long Island Football Championships in a brand new revamped Hofstra Stadium. And Tom Howard, it is a glorious day. Big crowd filing in, the first of 4 championship games over the next 2 days, and this is going to be a sight in the next 48 hours.
It certainly is, Carl. This is one of the greatest things that's happened to the Long Island sports community in a long time. 5th year now, we have the Long Island Football Championships every year, getting bigger and you know, just something that's catching on tremendously throughout the island.
We've talked about some great players that will be in this game, but how about some of the greatest coaches that Long Island has seen and may ever see? When you talk about Comsewogue, Tom Cassis is now in his 24th year. He's won 155 games, only lost 55 and tied 3. Comsewogue with a record of 9-1 this year. But Tom Howard, the Bethpage Golden Eagles, perfect up to this point at 10-0. The ever-present Howie Votes. As you look at Tom Cassis on the Comsewogue sidelines, he's done a great job. You will see his son, who's the quarterback, Kevin, only a sophomore. His son, Todd, graduated a few years ago.
Todd's up at Harvard right now doing a great job. And in talking to Tom before the game, it's ironic how I had played for my dad, and we were talking about having coaching sons. And on the football field, he's not your son. He's just an average athlete. Off the football field, you go home, you know, then it becomes your son. But not only has Tom done a great job, but Mike Denemark, his defensive coordinator, has done a fantastic job. And last week against North Babylon just did a great job. You see Howie there on the sidelines. You had mentioned, Carl, he's in his 43rd year, 252 victories, 97 losses, 8 ties. the second active football coach of all time in New York State with that number of victories, and he's 2 games now ahead of the great St. Francis prep coach, Vin O'Connor.
Captains on the field meeting with the officials to see who will determine the opening kickoff, who will defer, who might defend what goals. But, you know, when you talk about how he votes, and he's been talked about so much, Tom Howard, the community just really, really loves this guy. There aren't enough words. There's not enough time to talk about. I'm talking about a living legend, how he votes.
Well, you certainly are. And there's so many people who come back and help him out and coach for him. We talked about Tom Cassisi's coaches where you have Irwin Dillon, Mike Posh, you have Billy LaSala Jr., Billy LaSala Sr., who a lot of former players who have come back and worked with Howie, give the time and effort. You can see Howie right there. I was able to visit practice the other day, talk to Coach Votes. The kids just rally around him on the sideline. The community has rallied around him. And what has he done? He's only put together 43 wins and 2 losses over the last 5 years, Carl.
He is the only coach that Bethpage football has ever seen. He started the program. He's still there. Working the sidelines with us today, because I'm up here. Barry Landers away on assignment with the New York Islanders, and we've got our man down on the field. That's Hal Sass. Hal?
Thank you, Carl. Great day here at Hofstra. The sun is shining, temperatures in the high 30s, but the sun is bathing the field. It's a bit warm. One problem for the receivers, the sun is in the south, and ball could be interesting on kickoffs and punt returns. Warm weather, there's 5,000 fans expected to come into Hofstra Stadium for this Conference 3 game. It's going to be fun. Let's go upstairs.
All right, Hal, thanks very much. And Hal mentioned the approximation of the fans at about 5,000. These are 2 communities that day in and day out, good weather, bad weather, Tom Howard, are out watching their team.
Bethpage always has great support at their games over the years. You can see right there, Howie's getting the team pumped up, the fans are pumped up. Comsewogue, on the other hand, doesn't have bleachers there, but they have a hill, and every single home game, the Comsewogue hill is packed. So, as you said, both communities, very much football communities. Comsewogue broke off from Port Jefferson back in the I guess, the late 1960s, early 1970s. Port Jeff was a great football community through the years. Bethpage has been since 1953 when Howie started the team there.
That's the home side, press box side, which Bethpage will be on. Bethpage designated as the home team for this game will be wearing their, I guess, now famous old gold uniforms. As Coach Votes standing right now, Tom Howard, but by the time this game starts, as it wears on, Coach Votes will be sitting it down on the bench. He just really can't manage to stand up for a complete 2 hours of a football game, but the team will come to him, the coaches will come to him. Even though he's sitting down, don't fool yourself. Coach Howie Votes is coaching.
And he's back to the bench right now, and absolutely, he sees everything that goes on. I'm surprised. He'll yell at a student out in the field. All of a sudden, he'll yell, your left leg, Brandon Testa, your left leg is back. And boy, they, Coach Irwin Dill, Mike Posh, they jump right on the kid, and boy, he does the right thing the next play.
Just about set for the kickoff. It will be Comsewogue who will be doing the kicking. Deep man for Bethpage. To your far side, number 11, Nick Barone. And to the near side, number 24, Pete Zito. Number 3, Sean Gary to boot the ball. And we are underway, Class 3 final. Bethpage at 10-0. Comsewogue at 9-1. That is Zito trying to go up the middle. First hit was put on by David Callender. The ball will be put into play shy of the 20-yard line.
And we talked about David Callender being our feature player. He can hit like a ton. You saw he got down there. The one thing I'm impressed with, when you talk about championship football games, everybody always talks defense, and you need it. But the kicking game is probably the second most important element. We're going to take a look right now. You can see offensively, quarterback Steve Matee, Chris Searcy, Brian Soliday, who we talked about, the great halfback, Hager, Testa, and Santriello as the receivers. Sider, Kim, Greco, Murphy, a real good one of Mike Murphy, and Adam Razoff. That's the front line that has really driven Bethpage to their 10 victories.
So McTeague, the quarterback, the first give of the game, left side is Soliday, picking up perhaps about 4 shy of the 25, the 2nd and 6 for the Bethpage Golden Eagles. There is Steve McTeague. He doesn't do all that much when it's coming to throwing or running the football, but he gets the job done.
He has the ability, and today is the day he's going to need a big day. He doesn't throw that often. They only throw about 3 or 4 passes a day. What Comsewogue is going to do is they're going to bring 9 men up in the box and force them either to have the quarterback run the option or quarterback throw the ball. Let's see what happens in the 2nd and 6 situation.
Second play of the game, Class 3 final. Getting stacked up, perhaps a yard to the 25, but not much more.
One of the things that Bethpage is very well aware of is We'll take a look first at the Comsewogue defensive alignment, then we'll get back to that. Derek Jones, 3-year starter, big boy defensive left end. Pistone, Adams, and Moore are the front four. Then they come with 4 great linebackers. Russo, Calderon, and Callender. And we said before, Callender, excellent. McGuire, Del Rosso, Cassis, Kevin Cassis, the coach's son, and Sean Gary in the defensive secondary.
No gain on the last play. It is a 3rd and 6. McTeague keeping, went to the right, then tries to cut back. Dropped for a loss of 4.
And this is the first. Now they're back into a 4th and long situation. This is not what they were used to all year long. They're facing some stiff competition today. And they had watched North Babylon, as most teams did, 3 different times during the year. They never scouted Comsewogue until the last 5 minutes of the game. So Bethpage does not have a good look on this Comsewogue team.
So Bethpage, Chris Searcy to do the punting, and Comsewogue will just let this ball roll to a stop. And what great field position for the Warriors. First possession, Bethpage territory at the 49-yard line with Howie Votes looking on.
And Carl, you just mentioned the 2 key words in championship football: field position and possession. Position and possession is what you want. Comsewogue starts out with tremendous field position. Let me on defense first. In a championship game, I'm going to stuff you and get good field position. They have it. Now let me take the possession. I'm in almost in 4-down territory. See Comsewogue, so Kevin Cassis, the quarterback, Callender, fullback, Sean Gary and Jeff Del Rosso, 2 speedy halfbacks. Elanterio, Jones, the big tackle we talked about, Roberto, Dobius, Frimmer, Pistone, and Nick Russo, in the end, filling in for Scott Malahan.
First give of the game, trying to work the right side of the line with Sean Gary. The quarterback of this Comsewogue Warriors team is a sophomore, Kevin Cassis. What did Kevin do last week in the win over North Babylon? 8 of 16 for 122 yards and a 36-yard touchdown pass to Russo. Also rushed the ball 15 times for 88 yards and scored the 1 touchdown. Game winner, 3-yard touchdown run.
210 total offensive yards, 1 person. Again, a hand in the passing, a hand in the running last week. Did a great job against that powerful NB running attack.
The fake, and then the quarterback draw. This is Cassis with running room. And see you later, Kevin Cassis should find the end zone.
And he does. It's a touchdown, a 48-yard touchdown by Kevin Cassis. And that's just the quarterback. It's a quarterback reverse option call. Tommy Cassis put it in this year. He said, hey, my son Todd couldn't run this thing. But Kevin, the sophomore, has great speed. He's able to fake everybody out, and especially defense, because what you do is you turn the defense in one direction, and you come back against the grain in the opposite direction. You saw right there. Bethpage is stunned right now because they've never had someone do something like this to him that quick. But Bethpage is a championship football team. Believe me, they're going to come back.
Second play of the game for Comsewogue, and Cassis takes it 48 yards. They'll go for the 1, the extra point. They'll look to kick. Cassis to hold, Gary to attempt.
Great foot in Sean Gary also.
Placement, kick is no good. I don't know if anyone got a hand on it, but it did sail wide to the left. So the extra point is no good.
There's John Kay, our referee of the game, and he's saying the kick is no good. It's a 6-0 game, and Sean Gary usually puts him through. Let's take a look one more time at the touchdown, and you can see it's just going to be a quick option. Kevin takes the ball. He fakes off to the left side, then he stops and comes right back up the middle. It's a trap block. He saw big number 65, Derek Jones, open the middle of that line. His fullback through the line, and Kevin is off to the races, being chased right at the very end there, but just a little, too late by Mike Florio, number 26.
Tom Howard, last week Tom Cassis and his team trailed North Babylon in the championship game 12-0 going into the 4th quarter. They rallied for 13 in the 4th quarter to get to this point. What's the set right now with the team getting off the block so quickly, now holding the lead?
Well, I think it's tough. It's almost like when you watch pro sports and you watch a team that has a 7-game series and wins it in 4 games, and they sit back a lot of times, similar to the way the Yankees did this year. You know, sometimes you're not ready to go back in, or another team keeps on chipping away and chipping away. I'd rather be the team that has the time to rest. That's the Bethpage team, which had the time to rest. I think right now Comsewogue's running on a lot of emotion. And the emotion's good right now, but eventually throughout this game, the emotion's going to wear off, and your team is going to have to do the job. Let's see what happens on the second series by Bethpage.
This is Zito to the 25-yard line, and so far, special teams for Comsewogue doing the job on both kickoffs. Zito has gone pretty much for naught.
Well, again, as you said, special teams are doing a good job, but the Bethpage is just sort of taking the time. They didn't spring out. Usually when they run their kickoffs back, they're out there going. And this time it was very, look for my wall, you know, very light-footed behind there. You see right there, Kevin Cassis, 48-yard touchdown run. Now he'll go back to his safety position. Defensive, free safety. See what he can do on the defensive side of the ball.
So it is a 1st and 10 for Bethpage from its own 25-yard line, trailing 6-0 on the Cassis 48-yard touchdown run.
Chris Searcy, the ball carrier for Bethpage.
The ball carrier for Bethpage was, I believe, Henry Surr getting to the 30-yard line. And how did these teams get here? Well, we're going to show you right now. Comsewogue with a big win over Sayville, 33-12, and then a stunning win. That is not a right score. They were able to sneak by North Babylon 13-12.
That's the one-toss score. 55-6
was the one-toss score.
There we have it right there.
There you go. The road to the top for Bethpage. So on a 2nd down and 5, McTeague, the quarterback.
Unbalanced
This is Soliday. And maybe a yard or two crossing the 30 to perhaps the 32-yard line. Not much running room.
Making the stop for Comsewogue.
Okay, Carl, you saw, we're going to take a look at the road to the top for Bethpage. The Great Neck South win 27-7, and a big win over Wantor 55-6. Bethpage just came out in an unbalanced line to the right, came back with a wishbone back to the weak side to the left. Usually able to get some good yardage out of that play. However, Comsewogue defense brings up a 3rd and 3. 3rd down situations, championship football games, key situations. Let's see what Bethpage does right now. They're concerned on the sideline.
3rd and 3 for Steve McTeague and the Bethpage Golden Eagles. Trailing 6-0. 7:55 to play in this first quarter. Soliday to the 35, and I believe, unless it's a real good spot, Tom Howard, and you're saying no, they'll be punting the football for a second time.
The spot is on the line. You can see the left foot of the official right there. That's the linesman. He's coming in there. The field judge is saying it's going to be 4th down. John Kay gives the signal. 4th down right now, 4th and 1. Take a look again. All you're going to see is just a straight power play. McTeague takes the ball. He goes straight to Soliday. Soliday gets in, but Comsewogue's D is running a 5. They're a 4-4 normal defense throughout the year. They changed to a 5 right now.
Tom Howard, they're going for it.
And they're going to, this is setting the tone early in the game on your own 35-yard line. This is setting the tone for the game. He did not make it as far as I'm concerned. Let's see where this spot is. Stolen ball right there.
The ball was taken away by Del Rosso, but let's see where they spot this. Did they give it to him on the initial search? If so,
it's going to be within inches. I mean, there's no question. You can see the chain on the other side is just across, about a foot across the 35-yard line. The spot is about a foot and a half across. They're going to make it by probably the white stripe on the football. That's about 3 inches from the nose when they bring it down.
Well, from that angle, it looks like they have it.
I don't know why they're not calling for the chains right now.
I think
they called for them? They have. Okay,
they have called for the chains, and the chains always on the visiting side, which they are today, and here they come.
See Ed Stedronsky, the umpire, holding the ball.
This will be very, very interesting.
I tell you, that's a big gamble. Howie Votes showed me something in this. They made it in this right there, right in the middle of the football. He made it by 4 inches, but in a championship game, I think that's a bad call. However, talk about Howie Votes' victory. Take a look one more time. All we're going to do is we're going to give Searcy the ball straight ahead. He carries it, but look at that defense. Look at that second effort by Searcy, but he doesn't have his legs on the ground, so he can't get any leg drive. His legs are off the ground. He's just trying to fight for it. See the spot coming in there, and he does get the 1st down. 1st and 10, Bethpage.
From the 36, Golden Eagles trailing 6-0 Comsewogue Warriors. McTeague's first throw, he flares it out to the right side, and maybe a gain of about 2 or 3 was Robert Haga.
I'm very surprised in the way Haga hesitated, though. Haga caught the swing pass out the flat and stopped for a second to look upfield. Catch the ball and get moving on that, Robbie.
Down to the sidelines and Hal Sass.
Carl, call it a major wake-up call for the Bethpage Golden Eagles. Following the Kevin Cassis TD run, the Bethpage sidelines were stunned. Many of the players were kind of quiet, but then their spirits rose. A lot of players saying they should beat this team, no doubt. Bethpage wanted a quick start. They didn't get it. Now they trail. Look for Bethpage's intensity to pick up.
Well, they're going to need that intensity to pick up, but not on that play, as Haga is definitely wrestled down to the ground, maybe a yard. And Tom Howard, when you talk about intensity, Comsewogue probably has just a little bit more, because let's go back to 1994, a championship game right here. Who won the game? Comsewogue beating Bethpage 20-15, decided in the final seconds.
Just the opposite call. Bethpage beating Comsewogue.
I'm sorry,
20-15.
Bethpage beating Comsewogue in the final seconds,
exactly.
2015.
Take a look at the past winners now in all of them. Last year, 1995, North Babylon wins the championship, beating this Bethpage team. 94, Bethpage, as said, 20-15 over Comsewogue. New Hyde Park in 93. and Lynbrook. Remember, that was the year Bethpage was down in Conference 4 at that point, and they beat Southampton in Conference 4 in 1993, Bethpage did. Lynbrook beat Bethpage in the Nassau County Championship and beat Islip in 1992.
Lynbrook was the first ever winner in the Long Island Football Championships. McTeague with some running room, but that hole quickly was closed by number 57, Mark Moore of Comsewogue.
And they're fast with a 4th and 2 now, Colin. My thought always is in 4th down situations, when you gamble and go for it, where do you end up? Well, they're ending up in a punting situation anyway. Take a look one more time at the last play. Now watch the hesitation on the quarterback spot. When you go, you got to turn up the field fast and go. Bad block there on the corner, unfortunately. You see that's number 52. Ed Kim letting his man slide off, and Eddie, you can't do that. You have to stay with your block. He makes a tackle. It's a 4th down situation, and one more time they may go for it. Let's see whether they make quick kick out of this formation. Howie Bosch has been used to doing stranger things.
It's a 4th and a long 1. Soliday, left side, that little backward vault, able to gather that first down for Bethpage.
And boy, Howie Boats has showed me something 2 times now in this drive. He's gone for a 4th down. I stated a minute ago, when you go for a 4th down, where does the drive end up? That's the key to this whole thing. We'll keep an eye on that.
In fact, he picks up that first down the way that Dwight Stones used to do
the
the
Fosbury flop.
Or you could do the Fosbury flop, but I remember Dwight Stones. You're older, so was Fosbury before Dwight Stones?
No, that was the Dwight Stones flop. He used to go over that way.
Did he use the Fosbury flop?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That was his move.
Regardless, he has the first down. How about McTeague carrying like a loaf of bread, crosses midfield to the 45-yard line where he's knocked out of bounds. About 2 or 3 yards shy of another first down for Bethpage, but Bethpage starting to move the football.
Take a look at McTeague, and McTeague has to have a big game. You see right there, number 54, Mike Murphy comes out, puts a good block on the corner. And now he cuts up. They're doing a good job of stopping the option. By stopping the option on the pitch man looking for Brian Soliday, they're stopping him. McTeague has to come up with a big game here, both passing and running. 2nd and 2, great situation now, maybe to come with a pass, then come back if you don't make it on 3rd down and pick up the first.
2nd and a long 2, the give straight up the middle. The ball carrier is Chris Searcy for Bethpage. Now, we talked about Soliday, Tom Howard, but how about in the game against Wantagh, what Searcy did, carried the ball 8 times for 132 yards, had 2 touchdowns, one being a 79-yard run. So it's not only Soliday, but you have Searcy back there.
Bethpage has runners all over the place. Robbie Hager can do a good job. Steve McTeague, as we said, can run the ball. So you have Soliday, Searcy, Hager, and McTeague. And again, today, it's McTeague's day, I think, where has to come up big. 1st and 10 in this situation, and now they're starting to move down into Comsewogue territory, Carl.
This one for perhaps a yard as McTeague faked, and the ball went straight through the line. A couple of guys getting up very slowly for Comsewogue. Number 51, Rich Pistone.
What they're doing right now, one of Bethpage's famous tricks is the wedge. The Bethpage wedge has been around for 30 years, and they're able to run that thing very, very effectively. I think what they just found out right now, Coach Irwin Dill on the sideline is saying, hey, listen, we've been running the outside. They're defensing us very well at the corner with their 5 defense. Let's go right at them. Let's attack the heart of that 5 defense. Let's go right straight at the center. That's number 44, Billy Calderon.
McTeague still with the ball on a 2nd and 7. Brought down immediately. Number 3, Sean Gary. Number 13, first man to wrap him up, David Callender.
David Callender, 6'2", 175-pound senior, did a great job on the legs. It was just an ankle tackle, locked both arms around the ankle, and McTeague could go nowhere. So now it brings up another 3rd and long situation. This is the 12th play of the drive right now, but they've been doing 2 4th down situations they made. Now they are in 4th down. Once they cross that 35, they are in 4th down territory as far as I'm concerned. So they have 2 more plays to pick up the 6 yards.
3rd down upcoming. Approaching 2.5 minutes to play. McTeague in trouble, being chased, looks downfield, and nearly picked off Kevin Cassis, but good pressure being applied. Number 57, Mark Moore.
Now, McTeague hasn't thrown much. He's only 6 of 11 on the year. 6 of 11. They play 10 games. That's 1 pass a game. 100 yards. His 55% completion rate. 2 touchdowns. 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. And you see on that pass, he really didn't have a good pass. Now it brings up a 4th and 6. Now they're put in an even longer situation. They went for it once on 4th and 1. They made it. They went for it on 4th and 2. They made it. Now they're in a 4th and 6 situation. It's almost a certain passing situation or an outside game situation, maybe a draw or some type of play to the sidelines. They're going to their spread formation.
3rd time, Bethpage going for it on 4th down. This a 4th and 5 for McTeague. Straight drop. They'll set up the screen. Plenty of protection. Searcy, the ball carrier, has the first down and more to the 25-yard line. They let everybody come in. Then he hit Searcy, who had all the blockers in front.
And Carl, I'm very surprised that the defensive line didn't pick that up immediately. When you get let in like that, you know it's a screen. Your job as a defensive lineman to automatically drop back and protect, and it could have been an interception. Take a look at this. You're watching, you're going in, just drop back. Good wedge right there in front of him. He goes to the outside instead of following his blockers, and that's why he gets tackled. Take your time right there, Chris, and follow your blockers. You might have gone a little further.
So Searcy picks up the first down. 1st and 10 for Bethpage. That was the 3rd time they've converted on a 4th down on this drive. That now has the ball at the Comsewogue 25-yard line. Soliday unable to get on track. David Callender combined in there with number 51, Rich Pistone.
And I'm not even going to give Richie any credit for that tackle. David Callender was around the ankles immediately. David Callender from his outside linebacker position is all over the football field. Take a look one more time. David comes right through the guard tackle hole. He's into the backfield. He dives low. Watch this. Double around the ankles. Lift them up. Bring them down. And you can see Richie Pistone right on top doing an excellent job, too. Richie, 6'2", 240-pound senior, 51 tackles on the year, Carl. Excellent job at defensive tackle position.
So far, they've been able to shut down Brian Soliday. Fumble, loose football. McTeague, I believe, does cover.
Good job by McTeague to get back on the ball. Bad job on the exchange. So you want that mesh with your fullback. He's supposed to mesh into the fullback and take it out. Very poor mesh, and that puts him in 3rd and 13. Watch the mesh right now in football. He puts the ball in and just never has it right there. He just left it. He wanted to keep it and just left it there.
What I did like is McTeague, Tom Howard, looked to cover the football rather than try to pick it up and run.
And they're taught that way. Again, the games we're in right now, there's not a bad coaching staff within miles. They're all great coaching staffs. They know what they're doing, and they teach their players, get on the football.
Loss of 4, 3rd and 14 for Bethpage. McTeague still holding. Cuts back, has some room, crossing the 20 to the 18-yard line. Brought down again, number 57 on the stop, Mark Moore for Comsewogue.
And this will bring up a 4th and 3 situation. So this will be the fourth down situation on this drive. They're doing a great job of controlling the football. We said position and possession are the key. Well, they took the ball in pretty poor field position, but have kept the possession and will have eaten up the whole quarter by the time this drive ends.
25 seconds to play in this very quick first quarter. Comsewogue on top, 6-0. Courtesy, 48-yard touchdown run. Kevin Cassis, 2nd play for Comsewogue in this football game. There is the pitch. 23 taking that pitch for Bethpage was Robert Hager, but he's brought down at the 20-yard line, and that will snuff the drive.
And that's where the drive ends, and that surprises me because they have a field goal kicker who could easily have put it in for 40 yards. They had a chance to put 3 on the board. They decided to go for it. 3 times on the drive call, they went for it and made it in 4th down. I said way back a long time ago, and I'm a defensive person, I'd rather be playing defense, you can't come up short. When you go for a 4th down, you have to go. It was an 18-play drive, and they came up short. You can't do that and win football games, even if you're Bethpage.
Well, this is a Bethpage team, Tom Howard, that came in to this game averaging 37 points a game, giving up less than 6. On the other side, Comsewogue averaging 24.5 points a game, giving up just under 11.
And one of the stats we said in the open call is that they hadn't given up a rushing touchdown in the first half all year, and they gave one up in the first quarter. They've only given up 1 touchdown in the first half, and that was on a pass. This is the defense, only giving up 1 touchdown in the first half on a pass all year, and already in the first quarter, they're down 6-0 to this tough Comsewogue team.
There's your storyline from Hofstra Stadium in Hempstead. 1st and 10 for Comsewogue from the 20-yard line, its own 20. And they flag left side of your line. Jumping off for Bethpage was number 18, John Vicchiarelli.
And again, very uncharacteristic of a Bethpage defense. They don't make mistakes. They're not playing their great game yet right now. I think that the coaching staff has to get a little concerned right now that they do what they do best. And what they do best is put points on the scoreboard and play good, solid defense. They need a good defensive stand right now to get the ball back in good field position.
It's nice to gain 5 when the ball is never snapped. It's a 1st down and 5 for Comsewogue. Cassis still with the football to the 28-yard line. That will run out the first quarter of play in the Class 3 final here at Hofstra Stadium in Hempstead between Comsewogue and Bethpage. And it's the Warriors on top of the Golden Eagles by the score of 6-0. Back with the start of the second quarter right after this. Olmsted, 1 quarter complete in the Class 3 final, and it's Comsewogue on top of Bethpage. Tom Howard by the score of 6-0. This for Comsewogue coming up will be a 2nd down and 2 as the teams flip sides. Cassis with a good surge, crossing the 35 to about the 37. David Callender.
And I think, Carl, people can see right now why this Comsewogue team beat North Babylon 13-12 last week. They have a great football team. I don't think people gave credit to Comsewogue in that league because North Babylon all year was being talked as the team of Long Island, the great team here. Well, you don't knock off a great team unless you're a great team yourselves. You can see right now, Tom Cassis, led by his son Kevin, their quarterback, has a great football team in these Comsewogue Warriors.
Following in the footsteps, as Tom Howard said, of older brother Todd, who's at Harvard. Kevin was still with the ball. The pitch, tough pitch, loose football, looking for Gary on the pitch. Bethpage has the football.
And you can see Kevin hesitated right then. He wanted to turn up the field, but then he looked the ball into the hand of the intended pitchman, and by doing that, he pitched behind. Instead of just believing the man would be there and put the ball out where the man's supposed to be, if you have a good pitch relationship, he actually stopped, planted, and tried to look at it, and he pitched behind the intended receiver. And you're going to take a look right now. I think it was Jeff Del Rosso who wasn't able to handle it. Take a look as Kevin Cease comes down the line. He's coming to the left-hand side of your screen, and there's number 3, you can see right there, is David Callender. He pitches the ball behind Callender. He's unable to come up with it. You can see he reaches there with his right hand trying to get it. However, another Bethpage player comes into your picture and picks it up. Bethpage, 1st and 10 on the 39-yard line of Comsewogue.
Big turnover. Can Bethpage take advantage? Trailing 6-0. McTeague rolling, now in trouble, reversing his field, and he is just sacked. Brought down, a loss of 7 yards back to the 47-yard line.
Now, questionable call, Carl. You want to take advantage of a break. Sometimes you want to put the ball up after break. But Bethpage's strength is not passing the football. They've only passed the football 30 times all year. That's 3 times a game. They want to make sure they run the ball. They didn't.
Paul Adams on that stop. Cannon USA proudly congratulates the participants of today's championship games. And you've got a couple of champions out there today, Tom Howard, with Tom Cassis and the Comsewogue Warriors and Howie Votes and the Bethpage Golden Eagles. Steve McTeague is coming off the field. He's walking very gingerly to the Bethpage sidelines. And a new quarterback is in the football game right now for Bethpage. Back to throw, looking. This is Soliday on the option, cut back to the 40 and down to the 37-yard line. Brian Soliday picking up pretty much what McTeague had lost on the sack by Paul Adams.
And remember, McTeague was injured in the first half of the season. Soliday went to quarterback. Soliday has thrown the ball a heck of a lot more than McTeague had. 10 times, 23 times, 10 receptions. Watch Soliday as he drops back. He has great scrambling ability. Remember, he's a great running back. He sees no one downfield. He comes to the corner. He's a left-handed passer. He looks again. He freezes everybody. Now he uses his power, his strength, his running ability to go forward, looking to break tackles down the field, picks up about 9 yards, 10 yards on the play. It brings up a 3rd and 8 call.
In talking to Howie Votes, he says Soliday is a D1 prospect. The pitch, looking to turn the left corner, but making the stop. Number 51, Rich Pistone on Robert Hager, the ball carrier, 23 for Bethpage.
Now it's going to be 4th down and 6 yards to go on the 35-yard line, or a long 5 yards to go on the 35-yard line. Again, Tom Howard's thought is to punt the ball right now and put the team in a hole. However, Howie Votes has showed us time and time again that he's going to go for a 4th down. This will be a big play with Soliday as the quarterback. So let's see what Soliday does.
Well, it's a 4th down and 5 coming back from the 35. Perhaps the thinking here with Bethpage, they are such an explosive team. Maybe they're hoping that they can break something here with Soliday now at quarterback, but he's in trouble. He has escapability, 1st down, and knocking a guy over. Number 24 in the process, getting bowled over. Jeff Del Rosso by Soliday.
And you called it, Carl. They have somebody, a quarterback, who can make things happen. He made that happen all by himself. Watch how, you're going to see how he drops back and looks to his right, then busts it to his left. Should have been tackled twice and isn't. Right there, he looks to his right, pressure from the left. He comes in, makes 1 tackle, 2. He makes, right there, he's making Sean Gary, number 3, freeze. Del Rosso comes in the last second, a touchdown-saving tackle right there by Jeff Del Rosso. This is really an injury to McTeague, maybe a blessing in disguise for Bethpage.
He went from quarterback to running back. When he dropped the shoulder, knocking Del Rosso over, did Brian Soliday. Soliday this time handing off, goes to the
Chris
middle
Searcy brought
of the
down by
line.
Paul Adams.
Paul Adams making the stop on Chris Searcy, the ball carrier.
And Paul Adams pulled Chris Searcy down by the football. They're both on the football, and he physically, you see Paul right there, pull him down by the football, bring him back down to the ground. Searcy, a big, strong, 6'1", 215-pound fullback. Paul Adams, 5'11", 225-pound tackle, and does a good job of tackling Searcy. Gain of 3, 2nd and 7.
8:35 to play in this first half with Comsewogue on top 6-0. Kevin Cassis 48-yard touchdown, the only score in this game. Again, the give to Searcy from Soliday, who's now in at quarterback due to the injury to Steve McTeague.
You saw the Bethpage line get off the ball that time. They're a very good wedging team. They wedged for about 3 yards on that play call, so they're able to pick up 3 more yards, and now they're in 4-down territory. This is where I'd be very surprised if we see them put the ball in the air at all between here and the goal line. They're going to keep the ball on the ground. They're just going to use that offensive line to keep wedge blocking and keep firing off the ball, see if they can beat Comsewogue at their own game.
3rd down, call it 5. Soliday, the quarterback. Long pitch. Cutting to the corner, getting chased and thrown out of bounds by Cassis, the ball carrier, Nick Barone, for Bethpage.
I'll tell you, Nicky Barone's a small little kid of 5'7", 158, but he has real good speed to the outside. You can see right there, Soliday took the ball and threw it. It almost like a pass, half the football field across the, across the side
One
of
of
the
the
field.
longest pitches I've ever seen.
And the Barone caught it right in full stride. He was going, and he was able to get the first down. You can see right there, Erwin Dill with the calling the offensive plays right there. He had the plaid shirt on, and he's a little concerned. His team's moving, but they haven't put 6 on the board yet. They need this touchdown. 1st and goal.
It's taken the Golden Eagles a while to start really moving the football. They had an 18-play drive, took up a lot of time, but it went for naught. Not much happening there. Bouncing off a would-be tackler, trying to look for some running room, was Robert Hager, but not much running room to perhaps the 7-yard line.
Yeah, but Robert Hager was stopped. I give him credit for keep driving his legs. He was stopped behind the line of scrimmage, kept his legs going, was hit by a host of Comsewogue players, and still able to pick up 2 or 3 yards on that play.
Reminded you a lot on that play of Hager bouncing off the line and getting some positive yardage, just like the Detroit Lions' Barry Sanders. Has that knack for being stopped, bounces, continues on.
Exactly, has that good leg drive. You see right there on the left, Erwin Dill,
Plaid shirt.
Billy LaSala, Mike Posh walking in the front there with the blonde hair. And Erwin's calling those offensive plays and hoping his team can put it in. 2 more downs to get in the end zone.
Soliday at quarterback, still has the football, faked, now rolling to the right, still has it, looking end zone, and overthrows the intended receiver, number 39, Brandon Testa. Good coverage, 17, Chris McGuire, Comsewogue.
Brings up the 6th 4th down play. 4 in that first drive, 2 so far in this drive. Let's see if they want to put 3 on the board. It's a sure 3 right now for the kicker. They have an excellent kicker in Eddie Franco. He can put it through with no problem at all. Let's see whether or not they're going to go with the touchdown or they're going to go with the field goal.
3rd and goal.
Well, that's a 3rd and goal,
That's
so you're already thinking
fault.
ahead, but I like that. It's like a baseball manager, 3rd inning, but he's looking already who's on his bench to pinch hit in the 7th. I like that, Tom Howard.
Yes,
You're in this game.
Too bad I can't keep track of downs.
Soliday holding on. Soliday going nowhere, running right into the arms of number 21, Nick Russo. First of many in on the stop for the Warriors.
And they set it up for the field goal. There's no question now. They're right in the middle of the field. Now they're back 4th and 10. They're going to go for the field goal at this point. Take a look at this last play. You're going to see as Brian Soliday comes down the side, fake to McTeague. He's looking for the pitch right there to Robbie Hager. The pitch was covered, so he had to turn it up, and he was swarmed under by a host of Comsewogue defenders. They're going to take a timeout and talk about this play.
Timeout on the field. We'll step out. We're back with more right after this. Tom Howard, numbers really don't always show what's going on in a football game, and you'll explain right now.
Absolutely not. So far right now, Comsewogue has had the ball 6 total plays. 1 fumble, 1 touchdown in those 6 plays. Bethpage had it for a total of 30 plays, doesn't have a point on the board yet. 30 plays. Tommy Cassis concerned over there because they're thinking about putting 3 on right now. They have their extra point field goal kicker in, Eddie Franco, number 21, 37 to 41 extra points. No field goal so far, but I watched him in the pregame warm-up. He can put it from 45 yards with no problem.
They'll spot it at the 16, 26-yarder is up. The kick is good. So they're on the board. The Golden Eagles, courtesy of the field goal, we've got a 6-3 football game.
And I think that's an excellent point that they put the 3 on the board right now. You need to get your offense something out of a drive. You can't go the length of the field. If they would have kicked that field goal the first time they drove the length of the field, it would be a 6-6 game right now, Carl. They chose not to. They went for a 4th down. Well, that's history. They need something this time. They put it on the board. Now the goal is to play defense, get the ball back, and at least put 3, if not 7 on, and go in either 10-6 up or 6-6 tie at halftime. The goal now is to stop the Comsewogue offense.
6:28 left in this first half. The high-powered offense of the Bethpage Golden Eagles that came in averaging 37 points a game have 3 on the board, courtesy of number 21, Ed Franco. And it's something that Bethpage really needed when you bear out the numbers that you talked about with the amount of plays the Golden Eagles had run compared to Comsewogue. To be down only 3, I think they're very happy right now.
238 points in the first half Bethpage has put on their 10 opponents. 23.8 points. You see right there on the sideline.
Soliday and McTeague
talking to each other. I'm sure McTeague's giving him some points. He's either saying, listen, I'm going to be back in and we're going to do this, or he's saying, hey, listen, I'm hurting. I'm going to be out. You got to make sure you remember this, remember that.
We're talking about 2 seniors playing their last football game, McTeague and Soliday. This is a high end over end. Let it go right into the end zone, did Kevin Cassis.
The one thing that Eddie Franco has, if you watch that kickoff, he's a high school kicker. Most high school kickers put the ball in the end zone, do it on line drives. This guy can get a major college scholarship on his kicking ability, Eddie Franco. He's tremendous. Howie Votes is right there. People are talking to him on the sideline saying, coach this, coach that. 43rd year, 252 wins. Unbelievable. And you see how he knows what he wants out of his athletes right now. He's let them know.
You know, you really miss people when they step out of the game. A Don Snyder a bunch of 4 years ago over at Farmingdale. And as coaches retire and leave, a Wayne Sharon at West Islip and Sal Ciampi step down, no longer the head coach at East Islip. Here's a guy that I think, and I don't think anybody will really argue, as Gary, the ball carrier, crossing the 32-yard line to the 32 for a first down. I don't think anybody will argue the point when Howie Votes, and you hope he never, ever retires, he will be the most missed person in Long Island, perhaps maybe New York State football history.
He's done just a tremendous job there at Bethpage, and as you said earlier, Carl, the boys, and they're not boys because they're grandchildren playing for him right now, the boys who played for him know how special he is.
They continue to come back and support. The guys that played for him as long ago as 43 years ago, if they're still around, they come to watch Howie Votes coach football. Cassis, the ball carrier, bringing it up to the 40-yard line, and we've got an opportunity to go down to the field and Hal Sass.
Carl, the injury report on Bethpage quarterback Steve McTeague. He took a direct hit to the head. Right now he's on the sidelines walking it off. I asked him what happened. He says, just took a good shot. He wants to get back in, but now it's up to the Bethpage training staff to see what happens. Brian Soliday still in at quarterback when Bethpage goes back on the field.
All right, Hal, thank you very much. So McTeague eager to get in, but now it is a medical decision on whether or not they do let him back in. Cassis handing off, but getting stacked and pushed back to the line of scrimmage. Dave Callender for Comsewogue.
Just going to be short of the first down. It's going to bring up a 3rd and probably a half-yard. Bethpage now defensively, you can see on the last 2 plays ago, not this last play, but 2 plays ago, Kevin Cassis ran the same quarterback draw that he had run once before, and that's giving fits to the Bethpage defense because they're not used to it. They're looking at the wings going. They're ready to stop. They're stacking up the middle. They're stopping the fullback trap. The guards are not able right now to trap for Comsewogue, so Comsewogue is starting to use their tackles and do their trapping with their tackles on the outside, and it's opening up nice-sized holes in that Bethpage defensive line.
Chain gang out on the field to measure. This a very close one. About the length of the football short of a first down for Comsewogue.
Comsewogue is so explosive, too. If you bring a lot of times, I've seen in the past where teams bring 9 and 10 men up front on a 3rd and short to try to stop it. If they get a gap and they get through, they're gone for the 55 yards or 58 yards or whatever it is going to be for a touchdown. I think Bethpage plays a normal defense. If Comsewogue gets a first down, try to get him. See right there, John Kay is our referee, our umpire, Eddie Stradronsky. They're the 2 Suffolk County guys. The rest of them are for Nassau County.
Catch up to those in a bit because he's trying the left side. He slips, lost his footing. But you know what? It's a first down. They moved the chains.
He needs to make that inch that you talked about, Carl. He made the inch with no problem at all as Robbie Hager comes up and makes the tackle.
Number 23, Robert Hager. The Bethpage Golden Eagles trailing 6-3 to Comsewogue Warriors right now. approaching 5 minutes to play in this first half. The winner walking away with the Long Island Class 3 championship. Bethpage coming in at 10-0. Comsewogue at 9-1. Again, a flag jumping the gun, knowing he jumped offsides. Number 60 for Bethpage, Rich Auer.
And Richie has a real tough job because he's on number 54, Joe DeBias, and Joe's job for Comsewogue is to get off the ball and not get pushed back. A lot of teams like to go on 5 against Comsewogue because they do so much with their guards and tackles pulling. If you get a good push against that center and push him into the backfield, you can screw up the whole system of the guards and tackle pulling. Joe DeBias is doing a real good job of firing off the ball.
First down and 5. Trying to turn the corner and struggles and gets a first down. What an effort by Sean Gary.
Excellent job by keeping his legs moving. Sean kept the legs moving, and even when he was being tackled, he dove forward, extended his arm, picked up the first down. It'll be a 1st and 10 for Comsewogue. Watch again right now. Kevin Cassis gives a handoff. You can see 55 and 59 right there. DJ Frimmer and Frank Gilberto, the guards leading out in front. Sean Gary following his guards, and you saw right in your picture, number 56, Joey Sider, coming with the tackle, but Gary's able to fight for that extra yardage.
Tom, is that instincts, athletic ability, or can you teach a running back to keep driving his legs?
Oh, no, that's something you can teach. That's something not only can you teach, you do teach that. Joe Sipp at Bellport, I think, is the best coach for that. The Bellport running backs, every single one of them fight for that extra yardage. Every one of them, it's taught.
Perhaps a mishap and miscommunication on the handoff, and Cassis thrown for a 3-yard loss.
That was a quarterback drill. That wasn't miscommunication, but that time Bethpage now is starting to pick that up. They're not getting forward anymore. Before they were following the guards. Now they're playing straight up defensive football, and that time when Kevin Cassis went back, he tried to turn, and when he turned around, he got hammered. There was nothing there.
So what you're saying is that is the same play that Cassis ran for 48 yards and the only touchdown.
Absolutely, and let's see whether that's going to keep working or whether Bethpage is going to shut that down. They did a real good job on it that time, bring up a 2nd and long.
2nd and 12, as Tom Howard says, 3:35 left. Inside handoff, running room, and more for a first down. Jeff Del Rosso.
And Jeff did a good job. Again, we talk about they're taking away the guard traps to the fullback, but they're leaving open the tackle counters. The tackle traps, pulling and trapping. That time, excellent job by Del Rosso. Big number 65, Derek Jones, was able to lead through with a real nice block. Del Rosso was able to take the ball, picked up the first down. Comsewogue is moving. 3 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in this first quarter. First half.
Brian Soliday coming to the sidelines to get a helmet adjustment. Flag thrown in as Callender driving over the 25 to the 24. Check out the flag that was thrown in after the play. It's against Bethpage, face mask.
That's going to bring the ball from the 24 down to the 12-yard line. And Bethpage now is in desperate straits. Comsewogue is moving. The momentum is on their side. There's not much time left in the first half. Bethpage has to do something defensively, and they've been unable to stop this Comsewogue offense, except for that one fumble. Comsewogue stopped itself. Bethpage has not. Their great defense, which has shut everybody out, allowed 1 touchdown the whole first half of the whole year in the first half. Now maybe giving up 2 in one game.
The sidelines of the Golden Eagles.
Timeout, Bethpage. They're going to talk about this right now.
Timeout on the field. 3:29 left in the first half. We're back with the wrap of the first right after this. See him across Hempstead Turnpike from where we are right here at Hofstra Stadium in Hempstead. Site of today's Long Island Class 3 championship game. 1st and 10 for Comsewogue. The ball at the Bethpage 13. Comsewogue on top, 6-3, 3:29 to play in this first half. Kevin Cassis, number 12, is your quarterback. The give to Gary, trying to turn the corner right side, cut back to the left. He's inside the 5. He's in the end zone.
Excellent running by Sean Gary. And that's one of the abilities. The play is set up to sweep to the right side. That was just all that was the Delaware sweep. However, he was able to cut it back when he got to the outside and did a good job bringing it into the end zone, scoring the touchdown, putting Comsewogue up 12-3, early in this ball game.
48-yard run in the first quarter by Kevin Cassis. Field goal by Ed Franco, making it 6-3, but Sean Gary upping the lead on a 13-yard touchdown run. Tom Howard, an 80-yard drive, 9 plays, 3:21 left. They'll go for the 2. Flag is thrown. Cassis back, rolling right, chased by Soliday. just dumps it off, and then it was knocked down by number 61 of Bethpage, Adam Razoff. But let's check out the flag.
And tried to dump it off to number 59, big number 59, Frank Filberto said, hey, what do I do with this thing? I'm a guard. I don't know how to handle this, Kevin.
Wasn't even an eligible receiver had it gotten thrown, and he was able to take it.
Now, after all that, let's see if it was a Bethpage mistake that will give Comsewogue another shot, or whether Comsewogue's ill-fated play from the very beginning, and they're calling it off, they're bringing it. Ed Stradonsky is moving the ball down. You can see right there John Kay saying, declined, we won't take the 2, and Comsewogue will stay up 12-3.
Well, he was discussing that with number 54, Michael Murphy of Bethpage. So the 2-point conversion was no good. Get another look at the touchdown of 13 yards.
You're going to watch right here as Gary takes the handoff going to his right. He's following his blockers. When he gets to the outside, though, he sees it stuffed up there. So what does he do? He reverses his field, cuts back against the grain. Natural for a running back of his ability, walks into the end zone, and he's a happy young man.
He walks or he high steps?
Well, he sort of high stepped a little. Take one more look again. Just a fake up. You can see right there, just a little push in there. Number 55, DJ Frimmer, unable to get out in front where he's supposed to be blocking. Look at this. Nice job, though, on the line, blocking back against the grain. Watch Gary come in. Just a couple of little low steps right there.
All right, so we'll call it low stepping instead of high stepping.
He low stepped into the end zone.
Hey, why not? You're in the end zone. It's the Long Island Class 3 Championship. You weren't supposed to be here, according to all the critics.
I can say
you and
the
I
critics
included.
are wrong, and I am wrong. You're absolutely right. But there's the man right there in the middle of your screen, Tommy Cassis, who convinced his kids they were supposed to be here. Not only did they beat North Babylon, which everybody thought was a shock, but in the first half last week, they were doing such a great job. It was a nothing game at halftime, but they had control of the whole line of scrimmage. Comsewogue is a great football team. They're showing this great Bethpage team why they're so good.
So, Sean Gary to do the kicking, end over end, and going, well, staying in bounds at about the 20-yard line.
Boy, I tell you, you can't mess around with that. They are very lucky they have the ball. That's Bethpage. That's a live football. You can't wait for it to go out of bounds. You know, and I know that's not taught at Bethpage. They teach them to get the ball, but it almost looked like a poor coaching job there by letting the kid go and wait for the ball to go out of bounds. But I know Bethpage, I've been at too many of their practices, no, they don't teach that way.
You know, Tom Howard, as the teams exchange on the field right now and Bethpage offense comes on, what a trying year for Kevin Cassis and the Cassis family. I mean, Tom and his wife, Barbara, they lost, Kevin did, his grandmother, and Tom lost his mother and mother-in-law in the span of 9 days. Both of Kevin's grandmothers died, and then a couple of weeks later, he lost schoolmate Lauren Traylor. She unfortunately was murdered. 3 people very close to the Cassis family within a matter of 3 weeks, all no longer with us.
It really has been a very, very, I guess, difficult year for the Cassis family, and football has helped them in this and keeping their head into the week-by-week progression of the season, and it's going to be a very difficult adjustment after the season's over.
In fact, he had gone to the hospital. I don't remember if it was his mother or mother-in-law. He had gone to the hospital and saw another family member and said, Tom, what are you doing here? It was his sister saying, well, Mom's here. And he was saying, well, my mother-in-law's here. And then, unfortunately, both passed on within 9 days of one another. And then Kevin lost a schoolmate, and looking downfield, throwing on the run, but it was short hop at the feet of number 26, Michael Florio. It was Steve McTeague, who's back in the football game for Bethpage.
And Carl, I'm surprised at Bethpage. Again, they're getting out of their game plan. Their game plan is not to throw the ball. They've thrown the ball more times in this game than they've thrown in any game all year. Not only are they doing that, there's 4 passes right now. They average out of the whole year 3 passes a game, and that's when they're winning and they're up. They've thrown 4 already in the first half, and now by throwing it stops the clock. There's 2:37 left. They may give Comsewogue a chance to score again. Run out the clock, let's go in and adjust. We're only down by 9 points. They're not playing that type of football right now. Now they're going to a spread set. They're going to the passing formation again. They're going to pass now.
Well, they'll pitch on 3rd and 8. Henry Sir has the near side first down, bumped out of bounds at the 48-yard line by Kevin Cassis, number 12. Help from number 13, David Callender.
And that's what they do so well. They do well by running. Watch this again. They're in the outside set. This is a passing set they're in. However, they do a good job. McTeague takes the ball and he just flips to the outside. He has Sir out there. Sir follows the blocking of number 56, Joey Sider, the tackle who's pulling out and leading, and then does a good job of running over some people himself before being run out of bounds. You can see Cassis and Callender, the two guys doing the running out of bounds, but now Bethpage, with 2:30 left to go, are on the 45-yard line.
That play pretty much right in front of Howie Votes from where he's sitting on the Bethpage sidelines. Exactly 2.5. They pitch left. Haga looking to cut back against the grain, crossing the 45 to the 46-yard line. A pickup of 1. It'll be 2nd down and 9 for Bethpage. And there is some equipment that has been fixed up, and Nick Barone ready to come back into action. Little tape job there.
Has his knee injured, I guess, or banged up. He taped his knee, and he's ready to go back in. Now, again, as you said, Carl, Bethpage is a very explosive offense. They have the ability for Cersei, the fullback, to break it, too, as well as Soliday.
McTeague, straight drop, setting up the screen, far side, Soliday. Looks to move on Sean Gary and does so. Clock will continue to move. The stop made by, geez, I wonder who, number 13, David Callender for Comsewogue.
If he had 20 tackles last week against North Babylon, he's looking for 21 today because he's all over the field. Take a look as McTeague drops back, finds Soliday in the left flat. Soliday takes the ball, turns up the field. Unfortunately, doesn't have a blocker to follow, so he sidesteps number 3, Sean Gary, before the linebacker, David Callender, comes over to make the tackle.
3rd down and 2 Bethpage, 1:12 left. That should be enough for a 1st down, which would stop the clock, at least if they're going to measure, and then to move the chains as well, Tom Howard.
Well, they've already given the 1st down signal. John Kay, the referee, has said 1st down. So what they do is they have to get their play in fast. Erwin Dill is going to call a timeout. He's in the situation. Bethpage has a real potent, crazy offense where they spread their team out all over the football field. And a lot of times they do this if they're in trouble, or they do this if they want to just make another team go to pieces. Well, they may do that right now because it's a passing offense. It also spreads the team out. I think right now with 1:10 left, you may start to see some type of something different. They don't have time now to drive the length of the field. They can't do their 18-play drive for a touchdown. And out of their wishbone formation, they're not a great passing team. So Irwin has called timeout. I think you're going to see some of that crazy offense right now.
The New York Saints proudly congratulate the participants of today's championship games. And you can catch the Saints as they open their season on Saturday, January 4th at 8 p.m. The hottest tickets in town are on sale now. And Tom Howard, can you believe it? Thanksgiving weekend, we're talking January 4th, so Christmas right around the corner. Then we come to New Year's, and then January 4th, you can get tickets for the Saints Saturday night for that 8 o'clock game.
We're in 1997 already, Carl.
Well, we're talking 97. Let's not push 96 out of here so quickly. Howie Votes?
Howie doesn't want to push it out,
Not
that's for
at
sure.
all. No. Get to spend some time. Well, you really get to talk some football. That Gridiron Dinner will be coming up. Nassau Gridiron Dinner at the Crest Hollow Country Club. Always a great night. All the awards are given out. The announcement of the Rutgers Cup that night
That's
is
December
always
4th.
an exciting night, December the 4th. In Suffolk County, Tom Cassis, hopefully they might be announcing his team for the Rutgers Trophy at the Suffolk County Dinner.
Real tough decision this year, and we'll talk about that later on, Carl, but real tough decision on the Rutgers Trophy in Suffolk County. 4 great football teams.
Tom, it's 1st and 10 for Bethpage from the Comsewogue 44. Again, they look to air it out. McTeague looking long for Soliday. Stepped up in front. And I'll tell you right now, Kevin Cassis is lucky because Soliday stepped in front of Cassis and should have caught that ball.
Brian Soliday does not drop that ball too often. He's a very, very good receiver. Great hands out of the backfield. He's had 2 receptions for 17 yards. Both times he was able to make nice catches on his receptions. He's been a quarterback half the year, so remember that. He was not always on the receiving end of the ball. Take a look right here. As he goes up, he adjusts the ball. Although Kevin Cassis had his hand in there just a little bit, he did a good job of getting his hand back in.
Well, they're going to try to go right back to Soliday and Cassis. Almost a replay of what we just saw.
That time the ball was just a little overthrown, though. So if Steve McTeague had brought the ball down a little bit, Soliday would have caught it on the run, and it could have been real dangerous. Now they're faced with 3rd and 10, and they're putting the ball up and able to get the ball in the vicinity of the receivers. The receivers just have to come down with it. Remember, they're not a passing team.
Not a passing team, but McTeague has looked for Soliday downfield the last 2 times. Now Bethpage will, well, you
Spread
explain
formation.
this. Spread formation is really a spread. McTeague with some room, steps up, throws, and batted down coverage. Chris McGuire, Bethpage looking flag.
No
And they're
flag
hooting
coming.
and hollering because they thought Pete Zito was interfered with.
There was no flag coming. However, they had a wide open receiver from the left sideline cutting across the middle, and McTeague picked the wrong man to throw to, unfortunately. That brings up a 4th down. I'd be surprised if they don't come back with the exact same thing. And if a flag did go down on the field, but it wasn't, I don't think, downfield where we expected to see it. There was a procedure call against Bethpage, and there's the look right there. Good defensive coverage on that. I don't think that was interference, but the flag did get thrown, and now it's going to be a flag against Bethpage. It's declined, so it'll be 4th down, and Bethpage is putting his punting team in.
Well, let me ask you a question. With 52 seconds left, trailing 12-3, why punt from the 44 of Comsewogue when you went from it deeper in territory earlier in the game?
Because you want it now, you just want to make sure if you punt, Comsewogue basically is going to take a knee. They're not going to try to go 90 yards. Look at that great kick. What a great kicker they have, too.
And it does go into the end zone. What a great foot there with Chris Searcy.
You're absolutely right, Chris Searcy. I don't know where I'm coming up with the name Ron, but...
Well, you've got 8 teams that we're going to worry about over the next 2 days, so it's not easy. But Searcy does kick it in. Ball will be brought out to the 20-yard line with 44 seconds left in this first half. 12-3 in favor of Comsewogue. 2 running touchdowns. In the first quarter, 48 yards, Kevin Cassis. Here in the second quarter, Sean Gary, 13 yards in between. 26-yard field goal, Ed Franco for Bethpage.
Let's go back to your question, Carl. You say, why punt? The reason is you don't want to give them an opportunity where they get the ball near midfield and maybe break one play and go for a touchdown. Now you're down 18 or 20-3. This is almost going to negate a long drive right now. You're going to see Comsewogue run their regular plays at this point. There's just a quarterback draw they're going to run.
Quarterback draw, and he's got some room and then some. And he slips, does Cassis, approaching the 40-yard line. And now, because of the run and some good chunks of real estate, Comsewogue timeout, 37 seconds.
But they're still 30 yards further back than they would have been if they didn't punt the ball, so they could have been that much closer to the end zone. So, again, it was a good call to punt the ball in that situation. Take a look one more time as Cassis drops back. He's going to just take a quarterback draw. Right now, he steps back up. The pressure's in his backfield. Just misses by a hand. You can see coming in there, Mike Murphy, number 54, unable to get his hand on Kevin Cassis. Kevin's able to scramble down and pick up about 14 yards on the play.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for Comsewogue from its own 37-yard line with 37 seconds left in this first half. 12-3 in favor of Tom Cassis and the Comsewogue Warriors. Now, is this the second game in a row that Bethpage is looking to beat the Warriors? That's right, because they beat the Wanto Warriors in the Nassau Conference 3 final. Today it's the Comsewogue Warriors.
Excellent point, Carl Reuter, alumni of Wanto High School.
Wasn't happy. I watched that football game, Tom Howard. 55-6, but Wanto did play without Kyle Edwards. I don't know if Kyle Edwards would have made up a difference of 49 points, but he did go down early in that game.
He would
Could
like
have
to
been
think
somewhat
so.
of a difference. You would think so, yeah. But nevertheless, great season for Keith Sachs and the Wanto Warriors. And really, it's not too bad when you lose to Bethpage, who everyone expects to be in this football game when you start camp back in August.
Absolutely. Bethpage has been there year in and year out. You can see Tommy Cassis right over there. He's showing a little passing situation. I guess we're going to see a pass here. You see how he told, square those shoulders, right? You're going to pull back, you're going to square the shoulders. We may see a pass coming out right now.
Well, let's see what happens with 37 ticks left on the clock. 12-3, Comsewogue.
I wonder whether he was a father talking to his son right there or whether he was a coach talking to his quarterback.
I'll choose the latter. Kevin Cassis. In motion is Callender coming near side. Flags thrown. This will be...
They were coming back. That was going to be a screen pass back to the bottom of the screen. They were going to sprint out to the top of the screen to the right and come back. However, let's see if they come back with that play. Bethpage was offside. They'll pick up 5 the easy way. Still 35 seconds left to go. You're going to see right now, you're not going to see much, but you're going to see the right side of the screen right here. He just jumps. He gets across. Again, defensive men can move, but they can't break the neutral zone. He must have broke the neutral zone. That's Mike Murphy. I'm sorry, Eddie Kim, number 52.
You know, Tom Howard, very uncharacteristic of Bethpage, making some of these mistakes that they have made on these little offsides and jumping in a procedure call.
Carl, remember, they only gave up 1 touchdown the whole first half, that defense. They don't make mistakes. They're never used to going in and making halftime adjustments. I want to know what adjustments they're going to make because they're not used to having to make them. They scored 238 points in the first half over the year. That's the average. You're walking into the locker room up by about 25 points at halftime.
Well, I said they outscored their opponents 37-6 this year. Trying to step up, but brought down is Kevin Cassis. The clock hitting 30 seconds left in this first half. Number 2, Chris Searcy, the man in on Cassis. Timeout again, Comsewogue with 29.
Mike Podge, the Bethpage defensive coach, going out to talk to his troops. Tommy Cassis on the way out to talk to his troops over on the other side of the field. Little check and checkmate here. We're going to see who's going to do what, but with 29 seconds left,
You know, I'll
there's
tell
time
you
for
something.
really 1 or 2 more plays, and that's it.
The one good thing about the Long Island Championship, as much as there is the, everybody rooting during the course of the season, hey, our team won. When you play Nassau versus Suffolk, now it is Suffolk. I mean, all of Suffolk, every coach,
Sure.
every player, against everybody, coach and player in Nassau. This is a bloodbath.
Terry Manning, who lost last week, the coach of the North Babylon Bulldogs, made a quote 2 minutes after the game was over and told his team how proud he was of his team, and then turned to Tom Cassis and said, go out and win the championship. The team that just beat him 2 minutes ago, a team that he didn't expect to beat him, he expected to be sitting here, but he said, go out and win it. All of Suffolk County is pulling for Suffolk. All of Nassau is pulling for Nassau. It really does turn into a very difficult...
It becomes a grudge match weekend when Nassau and Suffolk battle. And I guess the best thing that you could look for is, well, let each county win 2. But you don't want to be.
I want to see 4 great football games. I don't care which county wins as long as the football games are great, and they will be because they're such great competitive teams.
We've got some beauties coming up. This is only the first of 4. This is Cassis back to throw. Rainbow looking far side, but that was out of bounds. Sean Gary, coverage there by Brian Soliday. But even had Gary come down with it, he would have come down out of bounds.
No, he was about 4 yards out of bounds off the white over there on the side of Hofstra, not even close. Now they're in a 3rd and long situation. 22 seconds left to go on the clock. They have a great field goal kicker in their own right. All they need to do is pick up maybe about 45 yards, 2 20-yard passes over the middle. No timeouts left, though, remember, so they're going to have to get out of bounds, and they could be in field goal range.
3rd down and 6 with 22 seconds. 17 seconds since that first time out at 39. It's taken about 5 minutes. Handoff Gary, says Searcy. Sit down, and then stacked up. But in the backfield on the handoff, give credit where it's due to number 2, Chris Searcy of Bethpage.
Searcy did a real good job of getting in there right away. He's a defensive end and was able to put penetration on, and you can see as the clock winds down, we're going in at halftime with Comsewogue 12-3 leader over the undefeated Bethpage Eagles.
And when we come back to Hofstra Stadium, Hal Sass will have some halftime interviews. He'll have Nassau versus Suffolk. He'll have Nick Schroeder, Suffolk County coordinator, and Bill Piner, the Nassau County coordinator. All of that when we come back. It's halftime at Hofstra Stadium.
Joined by both respective county coordinators. To my right, Bill Piner of Nassau County. We'll go to the left, and Nick Schroeder of Suffolk. And Nick, quite a year for Suffolk football, and it all culminates here at Hofstra.
Yeah, real outstanding year, and we've got a surprise team here in this championship game, and they're up 12-3. This was a game that we really had some concerns about, but Tommy Cassis knocked off North Babylon last week, and it proves that they can play with anybody.
When you look at this team and knocking off a North Babylon, a powerhouse, certainly changes some considerations possibly in the Rutgers Cup race.
Again, that's something that the coaches vote on. It's something that goes to the outstanding team in Suffolk County for the Suffolk County season. You've got some great teams. Patchogue had an outstanding season in Division I. They were 8-1-1. They knocked off Sachem, which is a great team. You've got Harborfields again coming in with their 2nd straight undefeated season in Division IV. So you've got a couple of people you can vote for. And hey, you can vote for North Babylon too, because they really were outstanding throughout the year. And you've got a Bellport team who's going to play division in a great game here tomorrow. So you've got 4, 5, 6 good teams that you can vote for in Suffolk County.
Certainly has been a good season in Suffolk County, and they'll swing over to your partner, your buddy in crime in the Nassau County side, Bill Piner. Bill, another good year also for Nassau County football as well.
Yeah, it was an exciting year. I thought the races, the conference races, were exciting right up to the end, and the semifinals and finals produced a couple of new champions. in Uniondale and Levittown Division, and it's great to see some new teams sharing the excitement of the Long Island Championships.
You talk about a lot of new teams, but now look at one of the old teams, Bethpage, riding a 40-game Nassau County winning streak. They're just a wild team. I mean, every game they seem to win, even though they trail by 9 at the half. What do you know about this team, and what can you say about how he votes? He just keeps going and going and going.
Well, I think any program with the tradition that Bethpage High School has, and with people who have been around as long as Howie has, and Irwin and all their assistants, it's just a great community and a great football program, and I don't think you can count them out until that last tick off the clock. Nassau
County has the big award ceremony coming up this week. Tell me about it.
The Gridiron Dinner at the Crest Hollow Country Club on Wednesday night. We have the recruiting session at 4 and the dinner at 7:30, and we've been averaging close to 1,000 people every year at that dinner, and we take care of all our awards, and it's the opportunity for everybody to come and recognize the outstanding athletes that we've had in Nassau County and really celebrate the football season.
The Long Island Championships, 5th year. Could you have imagined it being as big as it is right now? I know you've gotten some great help. The media has been great, especially Newsday covering this. Really all you could ask for.
Well, the support by the media has been unbelievable. The support by all the sponsors, people who are interested in supporting football and bringing the Long Island community together has been fantastic. This is something that Nick and I dreamed about for many, many years. It's something that we talked about and we wanted to see happen. And we just couldn't be happier with the response of everybody on Long Island to these championships. It's just been great. It's become a Long Island event.
Bill Pino, we appreciate it. Nick Schroeder as well. The two coordinators for each county, Nassau and Suffolk. We're at halftime. Tom Howard joins me. Halftime stats and highlights right after this. You're watching Championship High School Football on Cablevision's LISN. Back at Hofstra, 12-3 the score at the half in this Class 3 championship. Comsewogue surprising Bethpage. Your impressions of the first half?
Well, I think Comsewogue has played great football. They picked up right where they left off last week, and I think that Bethpage has gotten their eyes open. They haven't had this competition all year. They haven't given up first half touchdowns. None rushing. They gave up 2 rushing in the first half today. So they have to talk. They have a lot of adjustments to make.
Comsewogue came in. They had a big victory last week against North Babylon. It's got to be a bit of a tough thing for a team to come back after a big, exciting win like that in a county championship and then play in the Long Island championship.
Well, it certainly is. And with a short week this week because of Thanksgiving, it made Tom Cassise's job even tougher. It's been a real tough week, but they've done a great job. They came out. They know they had a great football team. I think a lot of people were surprised, but Tom Cassise was not surprised at all, and they've done the job. I think the people who are surprised are Howie Votes, Irwin Dill, and Mike Potts right now, the Bethpage coaches.
Now, when you look at the first half numbers, there's one thing you can say about first half numbers. Numbers lie.
They certainly do. Look at time of possession. I mean, I think the time of possession says it all, and we know time of possession right now is 5 minutes for Comsewogue, 18 minutes or 19 minutes for Bethpage. Look at the rushing. Basically, a little bit more for Comsewogue, but when you go to total yards, Comsewogue and Bethpage are about the same. Penalties, they're big. 4 for 27, not a lot of yards, but just mistakes that Bethpage does not normally make.
It was a good first half. We've got highlights from that first half. The quarterback, Kevin Cassis, doing the job for Comsewogue in the first half. And we'll take a look as he goes 49 yards for the first score.
Well, he takes it, and all this is a quarterback draw. He just goes back, comes right back up the middle, knocks Derek Jones, big number 65, out of the way. Hey, get out of my way, I'm going all the way, and gets into the end zone, right in the corner of the end zone before he gets hit right there. 6 points. Comsewogue takes a 6-0 lead.
The conversion failed. Ed Franco for Bethpage kicked a 26-yard field goal to make it 6-3, and then Sean Gary takes over with the 12-yard run.
Sean takes a sweep. All this is the wing tee sweep, the 121 that Delaware runs around the right end. However, he sees nothing going there, so he says, hey, I'm on the outside, and there's a lot of Golden Eagles coming my way. Let me cut back across the grain. That's a natural ability. Sean takes it back across the grain, low steps into the end zone, and goes up 12-3.
All right, let's put you back in the coach's booth. What do you do if you're each team, if you're Comsewogue?
Well, I think that if you're Comsewogue, you stay exactly where you are. You have 24 minutes of high school football left. You tell your seniors, we're playing the game we want. We need to get the ball back, or we can't score without the ball. We want to have the ball back. My concern would be more for Bethpage. They've done a great job of controlling the ball. They haven't put the points on the scoreboard. What Bethpage needs to do is control the ball, not give it to Comsewogue, keep it out of Comsewogue's offensive hands, and put 2 touchdowns on the scoreboard and come up with a 15-12 win.
Comsewogue leads it by 9 at the half. Tom joins call for second half action right after this. You're watching Championship High School Football on Cablevision's Long Island Sports Network.
Way back up to the booth. We're ready for the start of the second half. And Tom, I know you were discussing numbers with Hal at halftime, and right now it's 12-3 in favor of Comsewogue. But if you go back to that first quarter, when we kept talking about the number of plays, do you know what the time of possession was in the first quarter? 11 minutes and 3 seconds for Bethpage, 57 seconds for Comsewogue. That's another number.
7 seconds, 53 seconds, but I would have been very close to you right
Well, there you go.
And
so
they didn't put up any points. Unfortunately, they came away empty in that quarter. If they would have put 1 touchdown up, it could have been a 12-10 game right now.
Well, Ed Franco kicks off to start the second half. Gary's knee almost went down. It didn't. He's got some running room. Still on his feet, crossing the 30 to the 32-yard line. 1st and 10 for Comsewogue. They put the ball into play to start the second half.
My biggest concern for Bethpage this half is their defense, not their offense. Their offense was able to control the football. Even though they didn't put points on the board, they were able to control the ball. It's the defense that has to come through that's had a hard time stopping this potent Comsewogue offense. Well, right now, they start off on defense. I always feel starting on defense is good, but they gave Comsewogue decent field position by bringing the ball out to the 32. This first series of plays, I think, is a very critical, crucial series.
Let's see what Kevin Cassis, number 12, the sophomore quarterback for the Warriors, can do to lead the troops here to start the second half of play. Sean Gary with a productive first half. Again, the play that Cassis scored on, 48-yard touchdown. Goes for 5 yards on this, but Brian Soliday meeting Cassis at the 36-yard line.
But picked up too much yardage. Brian Soliday's an outside linebacker. Brian can't come in to make that play. They need the interior line to make the play Bethpage does. They were unable to come up there. A good 5-yard gain by Kevin Cassis. It shows me that Comsewogue right now still is able to move the ball pretty much at will against this Bethpage defense.
Cassis with 79 yards on just the 7 carries last week against North Babylon. Rushing the football, he had 15 carries for 88 yards. He's on pace to break those 88. And stretching for every bit of yardage he possibly can, is enough for the first down, was Sean Gary, number 3 for Comsewogue.
And one of the things that Tom Cassis has done with his offense, in the past when Comsewogue, for at least 15 years, when Comsewogue went to their broken offense and put their split end out, they passed 95, 98% of the time. This year he's been running out of that formation quite often. They're going back to their wide slot offense right now. They actually have it unbalanced to the top of the screen because of the number of backs they have there.
Coming through is David Callender, still on his feet, deep into Bethpage territory. There is a flag at midfield, but Callender bringing the ball all the way down to the Bethpage 34-yard line, first down. What is the flag all about?
Looks like it might be a personal foul against Bethpage. If it is a personal foul against Bethpage, it's going to go again another 15 yards from there. Instead of the ball being out at the 34, it's going to go down to the 19-yard line, Carl.
How he votes.
Has to be concerned. Look at the look on his face. Come on, what's happening out there? And he's very concerned because he hasn't seen his team in years. Nothing like this has happened in years.
And I'll tell you something, in all the years of watching how he votes, I've never seen him this active on a sideline. Very much taking a lot of interest in what's taking place on the field with his Bethpage Golden Eagles.
Well, the ball is on the 19-yard line, and again, Comsewogue, I guess we can't impress, enough how good a team Comsewogue is. Everybody kept talking North Babylon and didn't give Comsewogue any credit. Well, when they knocked them off, it was, well, wow, they came back in the last 5 minutes and did that. No, they were a great football team all year. They play in a great conference. So they really are a fine team, and I don't think got the respect they would do.
11 yards a pop for Callender, 4 carries, 44 yards. Searcy, first man in, stopping Kevin Cassis. You talk about it, along with help from number 39, Brian Testa. But you talk about Comsewogue. They're 9-1 this year. Their one loss They got rattled by North Babylon 37-6 in the regular season. But in the playoffs last week, they fight back from 12 down, and they win it 13-12.
Well, I happened to see the game. They lost. I was at that game. They were losing 13-0. All of a sudden, they come back and score, and it was 13-6. Then they come back, and they're driving, and they're on the 19-yard line going in, and I'm thinking they're going to tie the game up when all of a sudden they just got driven back, and the roof fell in on them. They changed their defense around last game. Little movement there. Number 65, Big Derek Jones jumps. It's going to be 5 yards against Comsewogue. Will bring up a second down now in 14 instead of a 2nd and 9. Little mistake on Comsewogue's part. That may just help the Golden Eagles a little bit lift up. They need something big to happen to them right now. But as I was saying, Carl, they were playing very well against North Babylon until the 4th quarter. The beginning of the 4th quarter, the score was 13-6, and Comsewogue was driving. Then the roof fell in on them. Well, the roof fell in on North Babylon last week in the last 5 minutes of the game in the 4th quarter, and they ended up losing 13-12 to the same Comsewogue team.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Comsewogue gets driven back the 5 yards. It'll be 2nd down and about 15 from the 19. But to get something going here, Bethpage is going to need a big stick on defense. They need a big play from somebody here on the defensive side.
Comsewogue has only stopped itself with that one fumble. Otherwise, they've been able to move the ball pretty much at will.
Cassis, little jitterbug, the pitch back, cutting to the 15-yard line. The ball carrier, number 24, Jeff Del Rosso, picks up close to 7 or 8 yards, and it'll be a 3rd and about 7.
Decent job by Comsewogue to get to the outside on the option. Bethpage did a good job defending it down the field, too, because when the pitch was finally made, there was a swarm of Golden Eagle tacklers there.
3rd and 8, inside 9 minutes to play, 3rd quarter. Cassis, that's Callender, coughs it up. Bethpage, I believe, has recovered. It looks like Robert Hager all over that football.
And it is. It's number 23, Rob Hager, the 5'8", 171-pound senior, who's a good coverage man, is a good fumble recovery, too. Good hit, though, made to make the ball come out. When the ball came out, it flew out forward, and Hager was there to come up with it. 2nd time Comsewogue has stopped itself. Bethpage has been unable to do that, but they have been able to possess the ball. Let's see if they can come up with an 8-minute and 48 possession. They'll end up in a score.
Just said they needed a big play defensively. Here it is.
Let's just take a look right now. As you see, Callender comes through. Now watch from behind right there. There's a nice hit. 46, it looked like, to me, who came in there. Maybe it was 26.
Michael Florio, 26,
who came in and made the hit. Nice shot by Mike Florio.
And recovered by Hager, 23. McTeague, the quarterback, shaking a bit in the first half, but he's back in there now. Soliday getting it going now, trying to open it up, crossing the 20, very close to a 1st down, the chain at the 22-yard line.
And Soliday's a big boy, 6'3", 205 pounds, a real hard runner, great athlete on the football team. They got to get the ball in his hands more often. Take a look right now as you see Steve McTeague just hand off to Brian Soliday. Good block on the corner by Chris Searcy, number 2. Soliday comes forward and picks up 9 yards on the play. 10 yards, actually, because they're going to call it a 1st and 10.
Well, then they did move the chains, as Tom Howard says. And the ball pops loose there, but already down. The whistle had blown. Searcy, the ball carrier for Bethpage.
And you watch Bethpage's adjustment at halftime offensively. They're starting to get off the ball. Their linemen are firing off the ball right now and opening up the holes. They're doing a good job. They picked up 15 yards on the first 2 plays.
This will be a 2nd and 5. You're talking about the linemen. I said at the top in talking in the open that I thought if Bethpage can control the line of scrimmage on both sides, that would be the difference in the football game. In the 1st quarter, despite the lengthy drives, they really weren't dominating like they've surged on these first 2 plays here, Tom.
However, they haven't been able to control the line of scrimmage on defense, and that's why Comsewogue has done so well.
Hager looking to cut back, but he runs into the arms of Del Rosso, 24, at the 30-yard line. It's going to be 3rd and a long 1.
And this brings up, again, another critical situation, because you're always thinking as a coach a couple of plays ahead. Well, we want to make this 1st down, obviously, but if we don't make this 1st down, will they go for it on 4th down from their own 31-yard line? That really is going to give Comsewogue, I mean, that will be the ball game right here with 7:18 left in the 3rd quarter if they go for it and miss it.
They did it in the 1st quarter. It was successful.
But they didn't. They make a first down easily right there.
And all of a sudden, the bread and butter ball carrier is number 2, Chris Searcy. He's getting the bulk of the work in the backfield.
But again, behind that big offensive line, they have Joey Sider, Abe Kim, Brett Greco, Mike Murphy, and Adam Razoff. They have 5 good ones. They need to get behind there. They give Searcy the ball for the short gainers, and he fights his way for 2, 3, 4 yards, and they try to break off the big chunks with Soliday.
1st and 10 for Bethpage from its own 35-yard line. 7 minutes to play, 3rd quarter. Comsewogue tough on the snap. McTeague lost it, regained, picked it up, maybe a yard.
Another typical uncharacteristic play, though, by the Bethpage Golden Eagles. They don't make mistakes like this. Unfortunately, it only happened on 1st down, but it's going to put them in a situation where it's 2nd and long. They want to pick up, if you pick up 3.5 yards on each play, you keep those chains moving, and that's what they were doing. Now it's 2nd and real long.
2nd and 10, Tom Howard, from the 35-yard line. Brian Soliday looking to get it going. They come to Soliday. Del Rosso doesn't bite on it.
Unfortunately, Joey Sider had a job to do and missed his assignment. He has to go out there and hit that first man. Then Soliday is able to look upfield after he makes his catch and start moving. He has great moves when he can look upfield. He was unable to look upfield, they'll call. Sider missed the block on the corner. Soliday is unable to get going. Bethpage is unable to get going. Now they're brought in a 3rd and real long situation, the 3rd and 11. And Tommy Cassis right there can tee off his Comsewogue team. They have to be careful of that screen, though, they threw before. I think this is a definite screen situation, screen or draw.
It's a 3rd down and 12 with 5.5 to play, 3rd quarter. Bethpage with the ball, but trailing by 9.
Unbalanced line to the bottom of the screen.
They come to the short side of the field, and no running room at all for McTeague. Knocked out at the 35-yard line. Why would you run the short side on a 3rd and long?
Well, I guess what they're trying to do, I'm sure they're unbalanced to the short side of the field, as we stated in the beginning. However, I guess they're hoping Comsewogue is going to play the wide side of the field just because it is the wide side of the field. They didn't. They just balanced up even. They came to the short side, and they stuffed it. Now they're forced in a punting situation. Chris Searcy back to punt.
So Searcy will do the booting. Kevin Cassis will not try to handle it on a hop. And look at the roll for Searcy here. This one all the way to the Comsewogue 20-yard line. Good punt of 45 yards with the roll. More importantly, Tom Howard, no return.
No return. You want to keep it out of Kevin Cassis' hands. He has 11 punt returns for 260 yards this year, had 1 on a touchdown, and they just came down and they gave him a good shot. You see Sean Gary and Jeff Del Rosso talking back there. I'm not sure what Sean's trying to tell him, but he's saying something. He's right in his face saying, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, calm down. We have to control the ball on offense.
EAB proudly congratulates the participants of today's championship games. And those teams right now, Comsewogue 12, Bethpage 3. It's great that these sponsors have gotten involved with the Long Island Football Championships. We thank each and every one. Gary, the ball carrier, stacked up, not even getting back to the line of scrimmage. Perhaps a loss of a yard, maybe 2. It will be 2nd and at least 11 for Comsewogue.
Key to that whole stop right there was Chris Searcy, though. Defensive left end stuffed Frank Filberto coming out. He's the guard who was pulling. Searcy stuffed them into the backfield, and by doing that, Mike Murphy, host of Bethpage players, were able to get in there and make the stop. Good job by Chris Searcy.
Well, they'll give him the line of scrimmage, so he did not lose any yardage. It is 2nd and 10. There's Searcy. He's running, he's tackling, he's punting, he's doing it all. But he needs to be a little bit more productive. They need points. Again, that quarterback draw. Again, it goes for naught. Dropped at the line of scrimmage is Kevin Cassis.
Now, Bethpage, which was running a little penetrating defense in the first half, isn't penetrating as much anymore. They're saying, listen, we're going to stay along. We're going to let you come to us, Comsewogue. You're trying your trapping, you're trying this and that. Instead of getting into your backfield and trying to screw things up, we're going to sit back, flex a little bit, wait for you to come to us and then make the hit. That's why that quarterback draw didn't work just then. They sort of waited for him when they saw Cassis making the move. They went right down. There's Tom Cassis, the dad over there, a little concerned. 2 plays, went nowhere. He had a great drive right out of the locker room at halftime. This drive is going nowhere. They're forced in a long situation.
He is his dad, but I'm going to say that was the coach right there at this point in time of the day. Kevin back to throw. Cassis, that is. It's short, incomplete. Trying to scoop it up on the short hop was David Callender. So now, for the very first time, good defensive stand, Bethpage, and Comsewogue has to kick deep in their own territory.
And you can hear Bethpage crowd coming to life right now. Bethpage knows for the first time they finally have a little momentum changing to their side. That was the first time they physically held Comsewogue. They're getting the ball and they're getting in good field position. They're going to get a good rush on the punter. Hopefully they're going to take this ball and now they'll be able to drive. Still, it's a 12-3 ball game. It's anybody's ball game late in the third quarter.
Two deep men, Nick Barone, far side, 11-24, Zito to the near side. The punter, Sean Gary, he'll probably hit it from about his own 12-yard line. Nice high kick, fair catch, and they let it go. And that good field position is not so good. Bethpage pinned back at its own 30-yard line. So a great, great punt of 50 yards. No return, timeout on the field. Comsewogue in control of this one, leading it by the score of 12-3.
And Tommy
We're back with more.
Hot.
Is hot, and we'll be back right after this.
The reason Tom Cassis was hot on the sideline a minute ago is because David Callender got a smack on the sideline going down. Watch the left-hand side of your screen. Number 13 right there, following the ball. It looks like it's dead. Now David starts to let up, and from there, bam, he gets pushed from the back and hit in the front. Tommy Cassis was standing right in front of him and didn't like that call.
Well, what do you think as a coach? There's Tom Cassis.
Until the whistle blows, you're a free person. So you
and
know,
at that point, the
kids
ball
to
had
hit.
not been blown dead.
Exactly. David doesn't break down, but Tommy's saying that's a cheap shot. You don't hit my guy like that. Well, you know, I mean, I can see both sides, but you don't take a cheap shot on the guy. But on the other hand, you play until the whistle blows the ball dead.
Well, now it's 1st and 10. McTeague giving the ball off. And again, not a lot of running room, perhaps 3 yards for Searcy, but here's a Bethpage team that had a great defensive stand. Gary kicks the ball from his own 12. Searcy is down, and a fair catch was called for by Zito, lets the ball roll, and Bethpage pinned deep in its own territory. But more importantly right now, and not even going to try to speculate, because we have Dr. Carl Friedman, who's in attendance. He's already out on the field attending to Searcy, and we will check what this injury would be.
Let's hope that it's just the wind knocked out of him at this point, the way he rolled over, and not something where he has, you know, a rib or a shoulder separation or something like that, Carl. But yeah, you're absolutely right. You don't speculate because you're not really sure. You see Irwin Dill out there. He's calling his other fullback in because he knows he's going to need somebody in.
Well, because of the injury anyway, Searcy would have to come out because of the stoppage in play. But this looks more like get the guy ready because he's going to be in there. There's a man, the profile of how he votes, intensely looking on. And I'll tell you right now, knowing this guy, not concerned about the scoreboard. Now he's concerned about his individual and the player out on the field.
Absolutely. He, as you said, all eyes are on Searcy right now. There's a guy up in the top of the bleachers concerned also. There he is. He's sitting up. He's going to hop up right now. It's the wind. That's good. We're going to take a look one more time. He's carrying the ball. You're going to see him get hit. And the ball comes out. It looks like just a real good pop that he gets. You see him come right through the line, coming right into your TV sets here, and right there, boom, he gets a good hit to the ribs. Now he's down, and watch as he hits the ground. He lets, well, you can't see it, but he let the ball go right away. Number 21, Nicky Russo, gave a real good shot there.
Those are tough earned yards. 33.
And Tommy Cassis told me during the week, he said, wait till you see Nick Russo hit in the open field. The kid is a hitter. Now, that wasn't an open field hit. That was just a good hit coming in. But he says,
but that was an
every game,
indication.
2 or 3 times a game, this guy will make a pop where the kids go crazy in film room.
2nd down and 7. McTeague handing off. And you can never, ever bring Soliday down with 1 or 2 guys. It's usually 3 or 4, but Searcy coming right back in, and John Vicchiarelli, number 18, comes back to the near side.
Well, they're going to need him right now because it's 3rd and 1. They're going to need him for either his blocking ability or his carrying ability because they have to get the first down. Now, the last time they were in 3rd and 1, they gave it to Searcy over the left guard. He went right behind Mike Murphy, big number 54, the 6'3", 242-pound senior. Let's see if he comes over the left guard again. right over that left guard, right behind Murphy for the first down.
So that'll be good for a first down. And the one thing that I look at is the clock right now that shows 1:45 to play in the third quarter. If you're Bethpage and you're up, you've got to love the way that they're sustaining drives. But to sustain drives the way they're doing and trailing 12-3, that's not a good sign.
Well, it may not be
against them right now.
It may not be a good sign, but what it is it's keeping the ball out of Comsewogue's hands. My feeling is if I score with 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, this drive takes me to 8 minutes. Now it's going to be 12-10. They don't have the ball much. I may get it and drive another 50 or 60 yards. That doesn't help, though. That doesn't help.
Not when Sean Gary is in the backfield. Thrown for a loss is Robert Haga, but Sean Gary doing it all over the field for the Comsewogue Warriors.
Sean Gary did a good job of coming up, and again, that was the adjustment that Comsewogue made at halftime. The quick, wide pitches were the only things that Comsewogue really didn't defend well against. They defended well against the option in the first half. They defended well against Soliday and the pass the first half. However, the quick pitches got them. Well, they made that adjustment at halftime in the locker room. Look at that. Quick pitch to the outside. Who's in his face? Sean Gary.
Second down and 15 for Bethpage. Inside 1 minute to play, third quarter, 52 seconds and counting. McTeague to throw over the middle. Soliday, big play. Very close. I think the spot will give him a first down. But that's the play that you need. McTeague, a tightrope. Soliday brings it in.
And they had to do that because even though they don't pass well, they needed a big play right then because it was 2nd and 15. They came with it, and you have a player down on the field, in the backfield. It looks like big number 78, Paul Adams. And he's a two-way player for Comsewogue. They can't afford to miss him right now. Take a look right now as you see Steve McTeague drop back, looks to his right. Soliday's out, flanked on the right-hand side. All he does is take 2 steps and slant right across the middle. Good plant, good position, good job by the offensive line, firing low, keeping those Comsewogue hands down. Look at the Comsewogue players on down. Number 78, Paul Adams, gets chopped, though, and that's why he's down. One more look as you watch McTeague drop back, sets up, and fires the ball. Good job of firing the ball. Soliday takes it, falls forward for the first down, and the spot does give them a first down.
And McTeague able to thread the needle between the two defenders, Gary and Cassis, right into the waiting hands of Soliday, who does have real good hands. But more important right now, the player down. You're talking about 78, Paul Adams, the senior, a big guy, 5'11", about 225 pounds. But Tom Howard plays both sides of the football.
He goes in there on offense. He gives Derek Jones and Rich Pistone breaks on the Comsewogue offense very often, so they really need him. They do not have, even though they have a decent-sized roster, they do not have that many starting players. You can see they want to fire out on the line. They want to make sure that offensive line gets off the ball. You tell them, Coach.
And that is Paul Adams. How he votes doesn't talk all that much during the course of the game, but when he does speak, people do listen.
E.F. Hutton votes.
That's what you can. There's Tom Cassis, far side, 24 years. Can you imagine? He's been coaching 24 years, and the guy he's coaching against has coached 20 years more than he has, and 24 is a quarter of a century.
It's amazing.
And you were saying in our last game how you were burned out. You won 2 Rutgers trophies, but you got burnt out after only 8 years.
Absolutely. You put so much in. And to tell you how much you put in also, I gave Howie Votes a call 3 different times this week. 3 different times at different hours, 7 in the morning. One time was 10:30 at night. His wife answered the phone all 3 times and says, well, did you try him at school? He was still watching films. And no matter what time of day, he's down at school watching films with the kids, with his coaches, planning.
Tom Howard to get away from that on the far side. Paul Adams was helped off, but pretty much walking off under his own power. They'll check him out far sideline. I see Hal Sasso, a man on the field, is already over there attending to that and see what happens. And Hal, I'm sure, will give us the report as McTeague rolls to the near side, then floats one out in the flat to Brian Testa. And Testa staying in bounds at the 27-yard line. The All-American lacrosse defenseman able to come up with the floater from McTeague, and the ball now moving downfield.
And Brandon Testa did an excellent job of concentrating on that because he was well covered. Watch McTeague as he drops back, gets pressure, gets to the outside of the pocket, then pulls up, but watch him square his shoulders, put the ball up, nice rope there, and Testa concentrates, gets hit by Gary, stays in bounds, covers up the ball, first down.
Also concentrates in the classroom, does test to 85 average, over 1,100 on his SATs. But here's the big hole to Haga. Gary grabbing the jersey along with Rich Pistone and David Callender, but not before Haga gets the ball back down to the 20-yard line.
Picks up 7.5 on that play. It's going to bring up a long second 2.5. The second 2.5 is a quarter ends right now, Carl. I think Bethpage is in great position right now. I really do. They're moving the ball. They have to get the ball in the end zone on this drive, but they're in great position because they're keeping the ball out of Comsewogue's hands.
We'll see what happens coming back with the fourth quarter. Those 12 minutes right after the Vision Systems proudly congratulates the participants of today's championship games. Carl Reuter along with Tom Howard and Hal Sass. Tom Howard, we begin play here in the fourth quarter. Bethpage driving deep in Comsewogue territory. Ball resting on a second down at the 20-yard line. Comsewogue, the Warriors, though, leading it 12-3.
That's correct. Bethpage must score on this drive. This is a definite scoring drive. They need a touchdown. They can get away with a field goal still and still win the game, but they need a touchdown in this drive to see what happens.
Haga in motion, McTeague the handoff. Look at the surge of the line. Still on his feet is Searcy, crossing the 10 to about the 9.
This is the Bethpage team I know, Carl. This is a Bethpage team that has the line drive, as the coach said before. Take a look one more time. This is a wedge. All this is a wedge. They wedge out. Everybody wedges on each other. They take the center and they pop them out of the middle, Carl, and they just keep on going. Searcy keeps his feet. He rumbles for another 9 yards after he originally was thought stopped.
Great balance for a guy moments ago who was knocked out of the game for one play, had the wind knocked out of him, but Searcy driving for that first down. It's first and goal right now for Bethpage. They try again to run it right up the gut.
They only pick up 2 on that play, and this is what you have to consider. When you're in 4-down territory, you need 2.5 yards a play, 2.5, 2.5, 5 yards, 2.5, 2.5, 5 more is 10, and you're in. They unfortunately got the ball first and goal on the 9.5-yard line, so they got to keep that 2.5 average. He only picked up 2 there. He must pick up 3 on this next play, and it gets tougher when you get into your goal line defense. The defense gets tighter. They leave the pass open, which Bethpage doesn't do well, but they really shut up the run. So Bethpage right now is forced to come up with at least 3 on this play.
You need to be a math teacher as well as a football coach. Searcy has the carry. Don't know how far, if he did at all, cross over that 5-yard line. Setting up now a third down.
Well, we can't see where the ball is spotted right now, but it looks like it's just inside the 5, and if it is just inside the 5, they're still back to that 2.5, but that would bring up a 4th and goal on the 2.5-yard line. That would be a real tough call. You really want to get your touchdown right now. You don't want to give Comsewogue the emotion of coming out of that and stopping you on 4th and goal on the 1-foot line.
I'll tell you right now, I'm looking pitch right now.
Well,
I'm going to
Pete
look for a
Blyberg
pitch
from
to
Kings Park,
Soliday.
Kings Park AD, and one of the Suffolk County corners, he's saying fake and option, fake and pass the ball.
Well, Soliday was stuffed, perhaps 1 yard to the 4, Tom.
Now, let's just see again. Tom Howard kicks a field goal here without hesitation right now. I kick the field goal. I need a touchdown at some point. I'm taking the field goal right now. I'm not using a timeout right now, which Bethpage is doing. I want to save my timeout for later in the game. They're using it. If they use the timeout and they decide to kick the field goal, it's a waste of timeout as far as I'm concerned. If they use the timeout and go for it and make a touchdown, it's a good timeout. But right now, there's a big decision to be made. Irwin Dill is walking out on the field. You need a touchdown and a field goal to win this game. Even a touchdown and a 2-point extra point makes it 12-11. So you need a touchdown and a field goal. Take the field goal now. You have it as a given. Then come back and get your touchdown later. They didn't think so, so they're going to talk about it.
Tom, is it also where maybe you take the field goal now because it is less pressure now to kick that field goal than perhaps if it is going to be the game winner? And I'm talking about from this level of football where you really don't see all that many field goals attempted.
Well, that's a possibility. You also know that they have a great field goal kicker, and they're going to be kicking with the wind in the next period. Against the wind in the next period. They have with the wind right now, so you don't want to kick it from a distance. You know you're close by. It's almost a chip shot. I don't want to make it a given because what will happen right now is that their kicker, Chris Searcy, is going to turn around. Ed Franco is going to turn around maybe and miss it if I say it's a chip shot, but he has the ability to do it. He's out on the field right now, so I think Irwin Dill has made the decision. We're going to go, but maybe they're talking about a fake. You don't really know what's going to happen. When you're playing Bethpage, they can pull a million tricks out of that.
Would you pull the fake right now and
No,
perhaps come up
no.
empty. Go for one or the other.
Exactly.
Either kick or go.
But I can't understand why they took a timeout. And that was the decision you had to make. When they were driving down, in my mind, I'm making the decision. If I get there, I'm scoring. And if I don't get there, if the ball was on the 1 foot line, I still probably would have gone for the field goal. I'm not going to take a chance of coming up empty. Let's see what happens.
They'll spot this ball at the 10, so make it a 20. Franco, high snap. Soliday gets it down. Kick is up. Kick is good. So they're on the board courtesy of the second field goal of the game by Ed Franco.
Now remember, Franco's a great kicker. If they come back and score again, the score will be 12-12. This is Bethpage. If Comsewogue doesn't score and the kick will make it, how important are your extra points? Ask Comsewogue to ask North Babylon how important the extra points are, as they won 13-12 last week with just 1 extra point kick. Right now, those 2 missed extra points today could actually come back and haunt them. When you miss your first extra point kicking, which Comsewogue did today, generally you want to come back the next time and put 2 on the board so you run it. Now Comsewogue probably wishes they would have just come back and kicked it the last time. At least they'd be up 13-6.
You know, right now it's 12-6 with 10:04 left in this fourth quarter, and Bethpage still to break a big one offensively. We have not seen Soliday break one yet. We have not seen Searcy really break one yet. We have not seen McTeague really get one going.
I don't think you're going to see that today. I think Comsewogue's defense is that well coached and that good that you're not going to see it. What you have seen is what Bethpage is giving you. They're giving you 3 yards, 5 yards, 2 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards. Occasionally they pass, which generally puts them in a hole, because except for that 1 pass over the middle to Soliday, they really haven't done a good job of even passing the ball. So they're going to control the football. They need to play defense right now.
This on Sean Gary on a hop from his own 10. Gary's got some room on the cutback to the 40. Near side being chased. Gary could go on the cutback again. Brought down, coughs it up out of bounds at the 19-yard line. But Sean Gary exploding and bringing the crowd to its feet.
Last thing that Bethpage could not afford to do was do exactly what they just did. After they scored, after they put the field goal on the board, after they came within 6 points, to give a big kickoff return. And I think they even tried that. Watch Sean Gary. They kick short. Sean Gary takes it, goes back to the middle. Look at the wedge right there for him. Well, it looked like it might have saw a little clip in the back there, but we only saw that from the end, so you don't throw the flag. Sean Gary explodes now down the left sideline, breaks away right there, tries to cut back, one hand pulls him down. Ball gets knocked out right there. As you see, number 34, is that coming into your picture?
Well, we'll check on who it might have been, but a 71-yard kickoff return. Comsewogue 1st and 10 from the Bethpage 19. Cassis, quarterback keeper, spinning inside the 15 down to the 12-yard line.
And Kevin just did a quarterback follow. All he did right there, dive the fullback in, follow the fullback right through, cut off the fullback's block when he goes in. They all tackle the fullback. He cuts off, is able to pick up 8 yards on the play.
2nd and short, Irwin Dill. Plaid shirt, arms folded. Tom Cassis, headsets off. They'll go back on talking to the guys upstairs. A couple of booths to our left here in the press box. Del Rosso in motion. Cassis on the keep again. Look at him, high step inside the 5.
Boy, this has not happened to Bethpage all year. Bethpage hasn't been put in these situations. They're put in it right now. They have to show what they're made of. This is going to be a 1st and goal. If you talk about goal line stands, if you talk about ever a time to come up with one, it's in the championship football game when you're 1 touchdown down and you're in the 4th quarter.
It's a 1st and goal from the 4. 4 shots, Florio off for Bethpage. The Golden Eagles need their biggest defensive stand all season long. Right here, trailing 12-6. The Warriors knocking on the door. 8:50 to play. Cassis is stacked up. Just about everyone from that defensive side of the football for Bethpage coming in there.
This is the time, Carl, where you teach your defense to play offense on defense. The defense has to beat the offense off the ball. The defense has to get into your offensive backfield as immediately. When you're on goal line defense, you have to come forward. You can't sit back. You can't sit back as a defensive safety. 3 yards in the end zone doesn't help. If they complete a pass in front of you, that's a touchdown. You got to be coming forward. You have to beat them off the ball and get into the offensive backfield. Make things happen now. This is where, in the old days, Comsewogue used to run the counter crisscross, and they're not even in the set to run a counter counter crisscross right now.
Cassis, first man in there as he's still driving. Loose football.
Boy, but it's on the 1-inch line. That fumble, because they come up with it, he fumbled forward. It goes to the 1-foot line right now.
Brian Roden, 55, had made the initial stop, Tom, and then the ball squirts.
I tell you, John Kay has the spot right there, and now they are going to be so close to that goal line.
Third down. Look how close it is. Ground level view. Good job here by the crew of the LISN crew.
Take a look at that run one more time. You're going to see Cassis take the ball. He just follows into the right side of the line. He gets hit. He's stopped right there, but the ball comes out and fumble.
That is not over. Cassis chasing, and it's back at the 10. What a play by Bethpage.
Well, again, it was a great play by Bethpage, but it puts Comsewogue in field goal range right now. You wanted to hold them with no points. You can see Cassis' face right there. What's happening to us? We were down on the goal line. Now we're going backwards. That can't happen. Take a look right now as Cassis tries to go over the top right now, puts the ball in. I'm sorry. That's Counter trying to go over the top, not holding on to the ball, gets bounced back. Luckily, Cassis' head's up enough to get back on it. Now, you can push, you can shove. You see Cersei right there pushing. You actually should tackle somebody and bring him down at that point. Don't let him get to the ball. When that ball is loose on the ground, you can do whatever you want. Timeout comes to Comsewogue at this point. You can see Bethpage is psyched up now because they know they were on death's door right there. Tommy Cassis is hot. How could you have fumbled the ball? He's saying, how can we get to that point? He's going, where's he going, to a referee now?
He's going right to the official saying, I believe he vaulted over the top.
No, I think we had a good shot here, Tom. You may be wrong on that one. We had a shot here where the ball was behind. As he dove over the top, he kept the ball back in his arm, and that's how it got banged away. That ball never crossed the goal line. That was a good call by the refs.
Timeout on the field. We're back with more right after this. That's where the ball was, on the goal line. Callender coughed it up and then brought it all the way back to the 10-yard line, where Comsewogue, Tom Howard, is going to attempt a field goal. This would be from 27 yards away.
Well, 27 yards, again, they have a kicker who can make a 27-yard field goal. That really isn't the problem. Sean Gary is a real good kicker. He made 17 of 20 extra points this year. Or actually now it's 17 of 21 with today's, but he did miss an extra point earlier today. Let's take a look one more time. This is what Tommy Cassis is really hot about. There's the ball, okay? It's a foot away from the goal line. There's the line surge. Now watch up top. The ball is not crossing. You can see what the ball is. The ball is at least a foot away. It's still bouncing around. It comes back, and now they miss it, but heads up, Kevin Cassis is the one who's going to recover the ball. That could have gone, especially if we were to pick that up, could have gone 99 yards the opposite way to win the game.
John Connell on tape in the truck. Brian Butler camera down in the end zone. Great job by the crew here. Tom Cassis argued, but to no avail here because he was clearly not in the end zone. Snap, kick, up. And good. Sean Gary putting 3 on the board.
Now, how tough is that kick, though, after you know you missed the extra point earlier? Now he drives that through. They have a real good kicker on Sean Gary. It's just a little extra pressure. After his great return, he decided. Now, take a look right here at the reaction. Sean Gary's going to put it through. Cassis is holding. Gary kicks it. Good hold by Cassis. Put down. He knows it. It's through. I nailed it. We're back up by 9. We still got a great football game going here, Carl. The problem is that Bethpage now is put in a position. If they would have missed that, they could have taken the full 6:43 to drive to win the game. Now they need 2 scores in 6:43. They're not used to doing that. They're not used to scoring fast against an opponent this style.
Right now, only 6 points on the board for Bethpage. Lowest output for Bethpage this season, 21 against Clark in a 21-7 win.
Bring her back deeper.
Bring it back deeper, he's saying. He wants to make sure the return gets as far up the field as he can.
And on the far side, Tom Cassis, he's putting on one headset, taking off the other.
Offense, the defense, the kicking game, the special teams is going back and forth. Let's see what type of kickoff. Last time when Bethpage scored, they kicked off. They didn't kick off. They didn't have Cersei kick as far as he possibly could. They had him kick almost a line drive. I'm sorry, that's Franco, kick a line drive. Now we're going to see what their kicker Gary is going to do right now. Is he going to kick deep?
Gary had the 71-yard kickoff return to set up his field goal to 27. Of course, Comsewogue would rather have had the touchdown before Callender fumbled on 3rd down, but they still net 3 points. They'll squib this one. Hand on it. Taking it up, picking it up is Nick Barone, looking for some room, crossing the 25-yard line. And I don't know who got the hand on it, but it might have caused a little bit of a problem for Barone to pick it up on the run.
You don't want somebody to put their hand on it because it throws everything off. You want to get it. Now, that ended up being good for Comsewogue by squib kicking it like that and kicking it down and not giving the return team a good chance to set up. Bethpage has to be concerned. You see some concerned faces on the sideline right there.
Well, this is the Long Island Class 3 final. The winner takes home the hardware bragging rights. Well, look who's done it in Class 3 before. Lynbrook winning the first ever game between Nassau and Suffolk. New Hyde Park. There's Bethpage. Last year, North Babylon. And who wins it in 1996? Well, if you stop the clock right now and we go home, it's Comsewogue. But there's still 6:36 left. Bethpage with the ball, but trailing by 9.
They're back to their pass offense. Fumble, snap. They can't make those mistakes. Too many mistakes by the Bethpage team
I would say
today.
that's about 4 or 5 little tiny mistakes that never do you see a Bethpage team making it today.
The jump off size on offense, the jump off size on defense, the fumble snaps, you know, they don't do those things. They just don't do them. Let's not take, you know,
I was going to say, let's
Comsewogue
not
credit, right? Don't
I
say
was just going to bring that up.
You know, we don't want to make it sound like it's Bethpage not having a good game. Comsewogue has a great football team. They proved it. They proved it to people in Suffolk County who came in here early and said, hey, wait a second. I said this was going to be a great football game. Other people say, no, you don't know how good Comsewogue is.
Oh, I thought they would say you don't know anything about football.
Well, that's true.
McTeague is back to throw, looking, and it's picked off. Guess who? Sean Gary coming up defensively right now, picking the ball off at the 42-yard line.
When you get Bethpage to do things they're not used to doing, you know when Bethpage throws more than 10 passes in a game, they're in trouble. They've thrown 10 or 11 passes so far today. They are definitely in trouble when they have to put the ball up. They want to control the clock. Take a look right now as McTeague comes back to your left. He's going to just set himself up, deliver the ball, but not a good pass. The runner's cutting across the field, and he's delivering way behind the runner. I don't know whether it's going for solid deep and just underthrew him, or the receiver going across the field. But
he also doesn't have the strongest of arms, was rolling left and throwing back to his right.
They're going to stay on the ground and run the time.
You hear from the sidelines that they're going to stay on the ground and try to run the clock. And if anybody knows, it's how he votes. And that clock right now is inside of the 6-minute mark, rapidly approaching 5.5 to play. And the coach on the sidelines, how he votes. There's the star right now. Sean Gary had the big kickoff return following a Bethpage field goal. Then he kicked the field goal, did Gary, and now he comes up with the INT.
And you don't have to be Howie Votes to know that they're going to stay on the ground and run the time. They've only thrown one pass this whole game. Comsewogue is not passing the ball today. They thought they had to pass the ball originally maybe to make things happen on 3rd down. They've been doing a great job, their offensive line up front.
Nothing there on the 2nd down and 8. That's Kevin Cassis, the sophomore quarterback, getting up slowly.
No, he's taking his time. They're not going to set the ball for play until he gets up. He's doing that's a smart way to do it. You stay there and watch. The ref has not set the ball for play. Now he just set it because Kevin took his time. He has 25 seconds from there to get the play off. Don't get up fast. Jim Brown taught us that about 40 years ago.
Well, right now, Bethpage not only playing Comsewogue, now Tom Howard, Bethpage's opponent is the clock, 4:35 and ticking.
And it certainly is a clock at this point because they don't need just one score, they need 2 scores. But remember, Comsewogue had 2 scores last weekend in the remaining 5 minutes against North Babylon, so stranger things have happened.
The big play defensively on 3rd down coming up here, so Comsewogue will have to kick the ball away. It will be a 4th and 6 for Comsewogue from the Bethpage 40-yard line.
And this is where you either take your 5-yard penalty because you're punting the ball from the 41. It doesn't matter. 5 yards right now actually might help you and put the ball inside the end zone. So I let the clock run down to. They just set the ball for play right there. They have 25 seconds. They can actually let it run down to 35.
They might send everybody, Tom Howard. Bethpage has nobody back.
They still don't have to snap the ball for 15 more seconds or 14, 13. Why they're snapping it and giving Bethpage 13 extra seconds, I don't understand.
Gary able to pooch it and does so in good fashion. Calendar watches it roll dead at the 10-yard line. Timeout on the field, 3:37 left. We're back with the finish from Hofstra Stadium in Hempstead right after this timeout. Stay with us. Tom Howard would love to see 3:37 run off the clock in about 37 seconds with his team leading by 9. Bethpage with the ball. Searcy the ball carrier. Some running room to the 15-yard line. He'll pick up 5 on that 1st and 10 play.
But they have to be in a hurry-up offense call. They're really, they're really in a lot of trouble. They have 85 yards to go to get a touchdown. Have to onside kick and get the ball back again.
And you know what? To make things happen, they've got Soliday in now at quarterback, looking long, had the man wide open in Pete Zito at the near side at the 40-yard line, but they go into the more agile, more athletic guy at quarterback, trying to get the big play.
Well, that's what they're trying to do right now, but again, Soliday could have put the ball on the money, unfortunately did not right there. He had Zito wide open, and he just had to zip the ball in. He lofted it up. You see the concern on the coach's face, the Bethpage coach's face right there, Erwin Dill, Mike Posh.
Remember, 1994 final between these two teams. Bethpage 20, Comsewogue 15.
Comsewogue has 15 again. Now wait for your blockers. Wait for your blockers.
There's a block. Searcy running room.
Get out of bounds.
Knocked out of bounds? No, he didn't.
He
Keep
didn't.
the clock. He let Cassis keep him in bounds on the tackle. Bad play. Chris Searcy should have run out of bounds.
1 yard. All he needed, give up the 1 yard, get out of bounds. Now, I mean, they're not going to lose that much because they have the hurry-up offense in. But take a look right here. It's a nice screen, and he does a good job. He waits for his blockers. Now, there's one. There's the opening. There's the hole. He takes off. However, he had the opportunity just to go out of bounds right there and instead stayed in.
Luckily, the chains had to be moved, so the clock stopped there. Soliday's got room. Soliday on the cutback. Soliday to midfield. Tripped at the 45-yard line of Comsewogue.
Clock should stop because it's a first down again. They have another first down. Get back in.
McGuire, Tom Howard, perhaps a touchdown-saving tackle. 47 left.
You call it, they'll call it. They put Soliday at quarterback now, and it makes things happen. His scrambling ability from quarterback is great. What's going to happen is he's going to free up a guy because the defenders are going to come up when he starts to scramble, and he'll find somebody deep open in the end zone, possibly.
Well, Cassis and Gary playing very deep as safeties, coming near side. Has the reception picked up there by Steve Mateague at the 35-yard line. Stop the clock to move the chains once again for the first down.
And they're doing the right thing. They're taking the short stuff right now. Don't go long. You have 2 center fielders sitting back there, as you said before, Carl, in Sean Gary and Kevin Cassis. They're waiting back there. Now is a referee's timeout. But guys, don't walk back to the huddle. Don't walk back. Official's timeout. He can start that clock anytime. Everybody's walking back in now, and then he's going to start. They're going to lose time. Get back out to your positions.
Well, one of the coaches from the far side for Comsewogue coming off, Paul Adams, 78, walking back off the field, was injured earlier. That right leg heavily taped. But as you said, Bethpage should have stayed hovered over the football. Cassis looking on, the coach. They go to the shotgun. It's Soliday stepping up in the pocket, looking for some scrambling room, and brought down at the 33-yard line. Down on the play at the 45 is Rich Pistone, slow to get up. This might benefit Bethpage because, well, Bethpage does call a timeout. They might have got an injury timeout.
They would have got an injury timeout. If they would have waited, they would have had an injury timeout at that point. And at this point right now, the big, strong Comsewogue team is starting to feel the pressure, but it's only 2 minutes left to go. I'm a little concerned about the way that Soliday's carrying the football also. He's running right now with the ball out in his hands. You got to put that thing away, Brian. Okay, Brian's out there to watch. When he decides to scramble, don't make it all happen yourself, Brian. Look downfield. Now he tucks it away, but he has it out. He's keeping, okay, he has it away pretty good. Now he went back to try to cover it up. He has some big hands, he's able to hold it. But he starts to run with that ball out there. He can get hit from behind when he starts to scramble. Erwin Dill telling the troops what to do.
There it is, the hardware. And I'll tell you right now, it's very, very easy. And I'll preface it by saying I'm not second guessing, but in reality I am second guessing. Why would you wait this long to put Soliday in at quarterback to make something happen? They waited till 3:37 left. They get the ball back, and bingo. go. Now they're moving.
Because you believed until that kickoff, and I believe this, until that kickoff return by Comsewogue, which got
71 yards to
71 yards,
yeah.
you believed that you still were in a good position. McTeague has been your quarterback. You've been okay. We're still in the game. We're 6 points down. We're going to take it. We're going to chip here and chip there. We got our great tailback in Soliday. We still got McTeague who's able to do things. Now, when they scored and finally went up by 9 with 5 minutes to go, then you have to make things happen, and that's why they changed right then.
Boy, if Bethpage had another minute or two on that clock, it's down to 2:15, but you mentioned last week trailing 12-0 against North Babylon. In the final 5 minutes, Comsewogue able to score a victory, 13-12. Right now it's 15-6 out of the shotgun. Comsewogue trying to protect the 9-point lead. Soliday going end zone, wide open. Touchdown, Bethpage!
And can the kid throw the ball? Can the kid
Paul
throw the football?
Santriello!
He hit him streaking down the sideline. Who's in a prevent defense? Comsewogue. Well, what are they preventing there? They're dropping back. 2 guys, the safety in the middle of the field, and the corner on the side are in between them. They leave him wide open. He's able to streak down and score. 2 minutes and 7 seconds left to go. Onside kick still a very distinct possibility. We're in a football game here, Carl.
Paul Santriello on the touchdown reception. Extra point to come in will be Franco. Placement kick up. Kick is good. 15-13, Comsewogue by 2.
Now,
Santriello, the senior, coming in, playing center field, wide open in the end zone, and Soliday finds him and hits him.
Well, just listen to these stats. If you look at the different receivers, Rob Hager throughout the year, 1 reception. 2 receptions for Soliday throughout the year. 2 receptions for Searcy throughout the year. 2 receptions for Brandon Test in the end. Santriello had 3 receptions for 170 yards, 35.7 average. Santriello is their deep threat. If anybody, if you know those stats, and Tommy Cassis knows them, you know that's the guy you want to catch when they're in trouble. You want to stay on top of him.
According to the scoreboard, timeouts left. Comsewogue 3, Bethpage 1. I don't know if those are official. That's what's showing on the board.
Now, here's the key. Every Friday as a football coach, every day before a game, you practice all your specials. You go through everything. You always have 1 or 2 onside kick teams, and you go. We're going to look at this, and we'll come back to that onside kick thought, which they're going to do right now. But you watch right now as Brian Soliday drops back. He sees Santriello going down. He gives a fake pump. He goes down. But what? Right in between 2 men. You can't let him get deeper than you guys. There's no way you can watch that. You should be behind him coming through to knock the ball down. You always practice these onside kicks. You practice the onside kick return. Let's see what happens, because you practice it all the time, but you have to make it happen.
It's loose far side, and
looks like out of bounds. Ball went out of bounds, flag went up in the air. Now, in high school football, the ball goes out of bounds. You get the ball automatically. In college football, or pro football, when the ball goes out of bounds, you don't get it automatically. You get the kick again, which I think, Carl, is dead wrong. You're giving the team that made the mistake a chance to win a game. It should
so you're agreeing with what's happening
in high school football. High school football is absolutely correct. Bethpage had the choice. Decline it and take the ball. Comsewogue. It's your ball. Let's try to run out the clock. But 1 first down, 1 timeout left. They use it after 2nd down. Bethpage lets the clock run the 1st down. They use it after 2nd down and hope on 3rd down they can hold them.
2:06 on the clock. 15-13. Comsewogue with the lead, but they're trying to hang on.
And this is where clock management is so important. Remember before when Comsewogue punted a couple minutes ago and said they had 15 more seconds to use and they kicked the ball?
And they did.
You want to use every one of those 15 seconds. We'd be down to 151 right now instead of 2:06. Every second in a championship game is important. Every second has to be accounted for.
Clock management. Cassis looking to turn the corner.
Get him out of bounds. Get him out of bounds.
Trying to drag him. He loses 3 yards, perhaps 4, but stays in bounds.
Look how smart Kevin Cassis is, though. Still laying on the ground, getting up very slowly. They can't spot the ball until they get the ball back in. They have to hustle the ball back in. The officials are even taking the time throwing it back in.
Cheerleaders, Santriello, who just caught the long 34-yard pass from Brian Soliday. Timeout on the field.
See, I have a problem with that also. They use their timeout now because it took so long to get the ball back in. You have to make sure you hit the man, get him down, and get off him immediately so that the referees can get the ball and re-spot it again and then start the 25-second clock. Every second is important here, Carl. Howie Boat's very concerned right there on the sideline. You can see.
No timeouts left.
No timeouts left. And now there's 2 downs. You know that Comsewogue is running the ball. You can take all 11 men and put them up. If they break through the line of scrimmage and go for a touchdown, it doesn't make any difference at this point. You know they're not going to pass the ball. ball. Challenge him to pass the ball. Challenge him to put the ball up. You can't. Any coach in his right mind will not throw the ball in this situation on second down right now. They want to use the clock knowing there's no timeouts left. So I have 11 men up right now trying to stop them and then get off of them quickly.
How ironic, the team that doesn't throw the football all season long relies on the football to be thrown to get back in the football game, the Bethpage Golden Eagles, and it's Soliday in relief of McTeague trying to make it happen, and it's a guy off the bench in Paul Santriello who comes up with the catch.
You're hitting all the nails on the head here, but when that happens, it means you're in trouble. When you don't run your regular offense, you're in trouble. Bethpage is in trouble right now, down by 2 points, 1:56 to go, and no timeouts left.
But it is a 2nd and 13 for the Comsewogue Warriors. Gary in motion. Cassis gives the ball to Del Rosso, looking to cut back, but he is taken down. Good tackle coming up, number 55, Brian Roden for Bethpage. Clock continues to wind, and now Bethpage keeps Roden down on the ground. And I was going to say, but he's clutching that knee. And
No,
Carl
that's a bad
Friedman
sign.
is
That's
racing on the field.
That's not a good sign for Roden to be down like that.
Sometimes you might tell a player to kind of get up very slowly and try to fake maybe an injury.
No,
but at this point, this is not.
You have a hurt player on the field right now.
Brian Roden, who is down. Let's see if we see it when he brings down Del Rosso.
Okay, see Roden comes up here. He makes the hit. He wraps around. He pulls Del Rosso on top of him.
Oh,
Watch.
the left leg. It's buckled,
gets trapped
the ankle.
onto him. You saw it get trapped underneath him. He comes up right now. He's on top.
It looked like the left knee started to bend a little and then the ankle crumpled underneath. But I wonder if that knee gave way on this turf as Roden brings down Del Rosso, which stops the clock with 1:44. Try to get another look, and again, the Dr. Friedman's out there. I will not speculate, but it does look like it's the left leg.
Okay, we have a good angle right here. You can see he plants
There
it out.
it is.
He twists this left leg onto, but it really doesn't look. It went very quickly, so it didn't plant and stay there. It just twisted onto there, but it definitely looks like the left ankle. You can see he's grabbing for his knee, though. You see when his hands come up, though, he grabs for the knee.
I'm just
it looked
wondering.
like the ankle to
I'm
me.
just wondering if the knee gave, and that's when the ankle
went
twisted
under.
and turned.
That's a possibility too, because at first it looked like the ankle to me, and I figured it didn't look that bad. But when he grabbed that knee just then, that
And
could
I
be
thought
bad.
originally he would try to play possum and stay down there to stop the clock because they have no more. But Brian Roden is definitely hurt on the field right now for the Bethpage Golden Eagles. 1:44 left in this fourth quarter. 15-13. Comsewogue on top. This for the Long Island Class 3 title. Timeout on the field. We'll await what happens to Brian Roden. We're back with more right after this. Roden coming to the near side, but on the field, a 3rd and 10 for Comsewogue. Clock is winding and running inside a minute and a half.
And they don't have to snap to 1:13. Don't snap the ball yet. You still got 15 seconds before you have to snap the ball.
Pitch to Gary. They did snap, chased by Testa, but then stacked up. He ran beyond Testa, but still, Bethpage coming up with the stop here.
Now, Carl, you have 25 seconds when the ref spot the ball. I'm going to tell you when the ref spot the ball on the clock. Okay, we're at 107, 106, 105. Hasn't spotted it yet. Right there, 104. He spotted it. You have 25 seconds. You don't have to punt the ball until there's 41 seconds left to go. 41 seconds left to go.
Well, they're using it right now.
Well, I mean, you wait, you use it and you get your penalty, or you use your own timeout. If you don't want, now I don't take a penalty. Now I take a timeout. I don't want to be pushed back.
Well, you're getting very close. You're down to 5. It's got to be snapped.
No, I tell the referee I want to know when it's
timeout.
There you go, 41 seconds. There it is. That's where I want my timeout. They went to 40. They went to 39. They can't do that.
They'll have to put some time back.
They can't do that.
They can't.
He spotted the ball at 41 seconds at 106. So 25 seconds from 106 when he went like that would be 41.
Well, then what you're saying is 3 seconds should be put on the clock. Does anyone on the field for Bethpage even realize that?
I don't think anybody realizes that unless you have clock management, to the second, and that's what you need to do. When John Kay gave the spot, we looked at the clock. It was 106. That means 25 seconds from there, which is should have been snapped at 41. It went down to 38.
Let's see what Irwin Dill might be telling the guys. Well, tough to pick up what Irwin Dill was saying in that huddle, but he is talking it over with Soliday and Searcy. And look who's in that lineup. Santriello, the guy who caught the pass, far side. Well, there's Tom Cassis. Unbelievable. The cat and mouse game that goes on right now with 38 seconds left. 15-13 in favor of Comsewogue. Comsewogue scored the first touchdown, 48-yard run by Cassis. They added another touchdown, a run by 13 yards by Gary. Then Gary added a field goal as well. And then a few moments ago, the long touchdown pass from Brian Soliday to Santa Triello, and that's where we stand.
Well, with 38 seconds left to go, you need a great punt return here, or you need a block punt. They're going to rush everybody but one guy. They're putting a guy back, but you have to hold up the men as you rush, and you got to make sure nobody gets down there. And they have offsides. Are we going to have an offside call here? We're down to 34 seconds. Now, how that could have happened?
The clock cannot move.
How the clock could have gone off 4 seconds in a snap? I mean, I've seen slow snappers before, but it doesn't take 4 seconds to go back there. They got to put 38 seconds back on that clock. If not the 41 that I'd be arguing for.
Well, first of all, how does the clock, if he drives him off, wasn't it a dead ball whistle? They put the ball, it was dead. It's a timeout. Why would the clock start unless the ball was snapped?
Well, the ball was snapped, but they're saying he was offside before the ball was snapped. No, and it shouldn't have taken 4 seconds. That's what I'm saying. The clock management up here has me concerned.
Well, we thought it should have had 41 seconds when it showed 38. Now it's down to 34. Now let's see where the clocks are. See, now Bethpage is signaling that how did 4 seconds go off the clock? Now let's see if they're going to put a couple of seconds back on. Now there's definite confusion right now. Now they got an official score up here, an official clock timer up here, and they went back to 38 seconds.
Okay.
See, Tom Howard, the one thing about it, I mean, we make light, not making light of the situation.
I'm not making light of this at all. My goodness,
you know
this
what
isn't
that
light.
clock is all about
Every
now.
second in a football game counts, absolutely, and especially when you get down to championship games. You pay, fourth quarter. We always had somebody.
There's no way that
my
Ford should have
assistant
ticked
coach,
off that clock.
He had everything down to a second.
There he is. He's about 20 feet from us up here in the press box. Kick is off. Kind of shanked it. Now let's see where they spot it. That official's really running downfield.
Wait a second.
I don't
Wait
know
a second.
if that ball.
Okay, he's coming back up.
He's coming way back upfield.
Okay.
There's no way. That ball
he's
angled
making
out at about the 30.
He's making the right call.
The
He's making the right call.
deepest it should be.
He got us nervous because he ran way past it to figure out where the angle went to, which is perfect. He did the exact right thing. That's perfect.
All right, so it is spotted. 1st and 10 for Bethpage. 6 seconds left the clock. Down to 32. Now with 32 seconds left, 69 yards. Well, not actually 69 because they have a field goal kicker. Where do you let Franco go? I mean, will he be able to hit from 40?
He hit the ball from the 40-yard line before the game, which is a 50-yard field goal. The ball was on the 40-yard line, and he made it. The wind is to his back, so he's in good shape. But they got to get the ball to the 33-yard line.
See what's going to happen here. Soliday gets the ball to midfield on a completion. Clock will stop to move the chains. Nick Barone at midfield.
Down the ball. Down the ball. Down the ball.
Bethpage, well, Tom Howard right up on the line of scrimmage, now ready to go.
Okay.
Maybe they will down it. It's a first down. 24 seconds left. Bethpage with the ball, down by 2. Soliday, no pressure. Looking long. Wide open. McTeague knocked away by Cassis.
He wasn't open. Cassis was sitting there waiting like a nice little decoy back there. He was in great shape. He wasn't open. Cassis was sitting there waiting. Could have even had the pick possibly.
That took 13 seconds, that play.
That's why, well, it didn't, because it took 4 seconds, because now remember, they're not running out of the T formation, they're running out of the shotgun. So I would have thought you want to come up out of the T and down the ball so it only take 1 second. They didn't. Once they got to the line, it took 4 seconds just to get the snap off. Take a look one more time. You're going to watch Cassis in great position, steps in front, almost came up with the interception. However, if he misses that, that's a touchdown going the other way. You got to be very careful there, Kevin. You can't make a mistake and miss in that situation.
You know what happens here with Soliday at quarterback because of his athletic ability? One play and we might be out of here.
Now they don't have time now to kick the field goal. They gotta make the ball get out of bounds at some point here.
Soliday is sacked, and that's the football game.
Game is over.
Oh, celebrate big, number 65, Derek Jones.
That is it. There's nothing that they can do. The game is over. Derek Jones, a super sop who started 3 years ago and played in that game when they lost the last play of the game when Todd Cassis threw an interception in the end zone. Derek Jones was on the football field. Well, he's on the football field again today, and he is one happy camper right now. He knows he just wrapped it up. Comsewogue, the Long Island Class 3 champions.
What a finish. Soliday had 13 seconds left for midfield. They had no timeouts. but big number 65 like a freight train, Derek Jones, bringing Soliday down to the turf. And a 15-13 win and the Long Island Class 3 championship to the Comsewogue Warriors. And Brian Soliday gets sacked on his last play as a Bethpage football player.
And how about the comeback that the Comsewogue football team had this year? I mean, they faced adversity. They've come back. They've never given up. They did everything they did. And Tom Cassis, congratulations. Congratulations to the whole staff. And congratulations to Bethpage also.
What did we say at the top? Defense wins championships. Calendar did have a big game. What won the game today? A
sack.
Big defensive play, a sack to end this football game.
We knew we had two high-scoring, potent offenses, two of the best in each county over the past 20 years. However, defense is usually the key. The kicking game, 2 field goals, a possible chance for a field goal at the very end there. The field goal by Comsewogue right now, really to win the game. Comsewogue's field goal won it. Kicking game and defense is what you need. You need that to win championships, and it did.
And once again, the Long Island Football Championship, this one in Class 3, turns out to be a gem. It went down to the last play of the game, and you could throw out the records, throw out the teams. But if it comes down to the last play, no matter who's on the field, you've had yourself a great, great football game.
Absolutely, and a great season for both teams. I mean, each team now walks off in a 10-1 record, 1 loss. There's Howie Votes accepting the congratulations from the Comsewogue players and the condolences. There's Kevin Cassis talking to Mike Posh right now.
And of course, the questions that'll be asked to Howie now: are you coming back for season number 44?
Has
you
to
want to know
now.
something? He's coming back for season number 44. Tom Cassis will go into his 25th season next year, but he's going to be going into that with the Long Island Championship in Class 3. What a job by the Comsewogue Warriors. They just celebrate all over the field. We showed you earlier, there was a big question mark for 96 who was going to win it. And for the first time, the Comsewogue Warriors join a very, very elite crowd.
It's different team every year, which is great. Just shows you the great competition that both Nassau's and Suffolk has. Take a look one more time. You're going to see this last play right here. Is that Jones? We're going to get to see it. We're not going to get to see it. We're just going to talk about him. That's it.
Boy, oh boy, is he one big football play. We've got that play, Tom Howard.
And
John
we should,
Connell
because
in the truck.
that play, you can see Soliday drop back. Now watch who he steps up and meets. Mr. Freight Train Jones right there, takes him down, and he knows that's it with 5 seconds to go. That's the ball game. That's the championship. Coach Cassis, we did it. We set our goal and made it. 270
pounds, and what a job by Derek Jones. And celebrations, yes, for Comsewogue. Well, you can celebrate also if you're Bethpage. Both teams finished with identical records at 10-1. But win number 10 for Comsewogue comes in the championship game, and Hal Sass is with the winning coach, Tom Cassis.
Carl, 2 years ago, Tom Cassis, your club lost 20-15 on this very field. What are the emotions you're feeling right now?
Well, the last time we went down to the last play, and unfortunately we lost. This time it came down to the end, and our kids held in there tough, and we won. You know, we made a lot of mistakes today, but you know, with all the mistakes, we kept in there and we stayed in there. Our kids played hard, and that's why we won.
Your club went through such adversity this year. When you look back on the season, how do you reflect on the year gone by?
It's been a very difficult year for my family personally, but it's been a great year for our football team. I'm very proud of these kids, my coaches, and our Comsewogue program. It's a great, great honor to win this championship. And I can't imagine anything being nicer.
And, of course, coaching your son had a great game. You keep growing those quarterbacks, huh?
Well, I love my boys, and I love all my boys. That's my whole football team. I'm just proud of all my boys today, and it's all 48 of them. And it's a really pleasant surprise. And we, you know, nobody believed we would be here. Nobody, except for us. And we got here, and now we won it. And I'm very proud.
Go enjoy the victory.
Thank you.
Tom Cassis, the head coach, Comsewogue, his club defeats Bethpage. They capture the Long Island Class 3 championship. We're back to Hofstra to wrap this up. You've been watching Championship High School Football on Cablevision's Long Island Sports Network. Good job.
They're still celebrating here on the sidelines. 15-13 Comsewogue over Bethpage for the Long Island Class 3 championship. And Tom Howard, we stressed defense at the top, and it was defense that does win it for Comsewogue.
Absolutely. And let's not forget, I guess, the great football that was played offensively. Comsewogue able to control the football on the scoreboard. Bethpage able to control the clock with the football, but defense is what came up big. Defense at the end of the game. And the kicking game, 3 field goals in this game, Carl. Game ends up being a Comsewogue Warrior victory.
So the first trophy in the Long Island Championships will be brought back to Comsewogue High School. Congratulations to the Warriors, beating Bethpage by the score of 15-13. That about do it from Hofstra Stadium in Hempstead. Once again, the final 15-13 in favor of Comsewogue. Our coverage of today's game has been brought to you by Canon USA, Hofstra University, by 9X, Cablevision Systems, by EAB, by the New York Saints of the Major Indoor Lacrosse League, and by Crystal Video Productions. Once again, 15-13, Comsewogue over Bethpage, the Long Island Class 3 champs. For Hal Sass, Tom Howard, the entire Cablevision team, I'm Carl Reuter. So long, everybody.